Ladies and gentlemen and in-betweeners, on this episode, we have country music singer-songwriter Kasey Lansdale with an in-studio performance, international dancer and model Chad Ellen Ortiz, very Latino, part of my family, a special guest, Doug Jacobson, with a giveaway from Equality Vodka, and my co-host, my twin sister, can't even tell us apart, pop culture expert Stephen Dehler. Raise a glass and let the drinks begin.
Life is a banquet, and most poor suckers are starving to death.
I'd like to propose a toast.
This is On the Rocks with Alexander, where I drink with your favorite celebrities as we talk about fashion, entertainment, pop culture, reality TV, and, well, that's about it. So pop a cork, lean back, and raise a glass to On the Rocks.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Lord have mercy. Buttons and bows and pantyhose. This is On the Rocks radio show, the place where we're too glam to give a damn. I am very upset that there's not a drag queen called Mistletoe. I mean, come on. It's so easy. It writes itself. I searched. I Googled. There's not one drag queen. Doug, could be a chance.
Could be.
Could be. Something new. Something new to add to your resume. I mean, come on.
I feel like it's seasonal, though.
Is it?
She comes out once a year.
She only comes out once a year.
See, that would be perfect for somebody that doesn't do drag all the time.
That's true, I guess.
Yeah.
That's true,
And limited budget.
A little lazy drag.
Yeah. It's like, Merry Christmas.
Damn it. She shows up the day after Christmas.
Yes. That's when I buy my Christmas tree. Ho, ho, ho. Anyway, I've gotten some flack for having Christmas stuff out. Nobody realizes. Joke's on you. It's stuff left over from last year. You know, in the beginning you're busy. The last priority you have is
Christmas
like
stuff up from a year ago?
I do, like Snoopy stickers, ornaments. I have like
ornaments.
Yeah, I hang ornaments everywhere though. But it's like, because I'm busy. It's like great gardens in my house, except for my closet. That's
She's
the
a
only
secret
place.
hoarder. That's what it is.
Right.
I would love to be on that show. We had Dr. Robin Zazio from Hoarders on the show, and she admitted she is a hoarder of shoes. She has 3 rooms full of shoes. And she admitted it, and she's a doctor helping other hoarders.
Everybody should have 3 rooms full of shoes.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you. A man after my own shoe. Thank you to our silver listeners for tuning us in. We thank you for holding our hair back and driving us home. You have a place here. Equality Vodka, speaking of drinking, if you are drinking, the official vodka of On the Rocks is Equality Vodka. 20% of every beautiful bottle sold helps fund nonprofits that work to secure equality for everyone. Visit them at equalityvodka.com and social media. We're going to chat with Doug, one of the co-founders of Equality Vodka, today. We have a giveaway in time for the holidays. You like re-gifting? Now's the chance to get a good gift to re-gift or keep it for yourself. Also, our featured sponsor today is iHoney, or iHoney, high-end eyewear and accessories that combine classic styles with contemporary urban aesthetics. Unisex, they got you covered. Check out their lines of crowns, wearable chic crowns for the club or brunch, many other things. Soon to be featured on The Rocks events. Go to iHoney.com. It's EYEHUNEE.com. iHoney, so you know that they're real. Okay, the show is brought to you by Straw Hut Media here TV. You can watch and listen to every one of our now 195 episodes. Can you imagine? Wow. And I think you've been here for like 95 of them.
It feels like it.
And on the Rocks,
what's the 200? When's the 200's in?
We're actually doing a thing for 200.
All right,
so
let me
in
know
fact,
about
we
it.
have to talk.
Thanks for letting me know about it. It's great.
I know, I was going to say, I think that means we're not invited.
No. It'll be in January, and
I'll talk to my people, and that means my cat, so I'll let you know. Right.
I think it's going to be something big. But you can listen to every one of our episodes for free at ontherocksradioshow.com. Hello to all of our listeners around the nation on iHeartRadio, Stitcher, TuneIn, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Roku, and I'm excited to announce we're now on Pandora's new podcast platform. Watch us on YouTube and Hear TV, and of course we are on the Facebook pages of Trendy Now in San Diego, GED Magazine, and I Love Gay, LGBT, and of course On the Rocks Radio Show Facebook. Like us on Twitter and Instagram at On the Rocks On Air. Send me an email, book me for a wedding, funeral, quinceañera, bris. I don't care. I will show up. Info at ontherocksradioshow.com. That's true, by the way. I'm also a registered officiant, but nobody wants to hire me because I talk so much during the ceremony.
Oh, I could definitely see that.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm like #single for life. We are here to marry this couple.
The 3-hour wedding.
Yeah,
like I'm here to marry this couple. Me.
The last wedding I did, I said, I hope your hearts are as open as your relationship.
That must have gone over well.
Nobody laughed. Well, I went to the bachelor party, so. Let me introduce my co-host and panel for this grab bag of talent episode. Stephen Dehler, returning, has appeared on the covers of magazines magazines around the world, appeared on runways, a favorite of Marco brand, has appeared on TV on RuPaul's Drag Race, Will and Grace, Now Apocalypse, and more. He has appeared on the covers of romance novels for every, and I do mean every, audience. Interesting.
There's never been a horse.
There was a cover with you and stable enough?
That must have been your favorite book.
It was. I love it.
See?
Nay. He's like, I'm an actual writer. Stephen is also our resident pop culture, spilling the tea on everything entertainment. Please welcome back Stephen Dehler.
Thank you.
So, we follow each other on social media. I see you more here at the radio show than I do out because you're working and I'm always drunk.
He just doesn't see me. I'm there. He just doesn't
I'm like, true story. But you have posted some fan art, and I want to know, everybody, is fan art creepy or flattering?
It depends on the extent of it.
Kurt, show the fan art. With our new system, we can't see what you're seeing, but it's fabulous.
Oh, you can't see it anymore?
It's like the graphic art one, where you're like...
Let me explain it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know what you're talking about.
The audience can see.
He's actually a really famous...
There we go.
He's
No.
No,
No,
that's not
I'm
it.
like, that's a really great drawing.
Yeah.
No, this guy's in... That's
like,
not it.
no,
That's
no,
not
no.
it either. That's
He's like
real.
in a white...
That's real, too.
Like, that's the other fan art
He's
of
like,
that one.
He's like in a white,
Go
wet...
to the left of the one that you just... left one more. That one. That one's the fake one. Go
Yeah.
to the left one more and you'll see the real
Yeah,
one.
so go to-
That's
yeah.
that's me,
That's-
and then that's what they drew. That's actually that guy's style. He makes like people really, really massive. If you go to his page, he does like Disney characters and a bunch of other stuff.
It looks like the Incredibles.
That's his aesthetic. So when I actually got like message from a few people because he's pretty big, and they were like, "Oh, did you notice that he?" I think it's
You're like,
silver
yeah, I did
jowl.
notice. It's my body.
No, I didn't notice that he posted it because I wasn't
oh.
online. So they like a Manila like sent me a message. She's like, "Have you seen this yet?" And I was like, "Oh, that photo's like from 7 years ago, but that was really cool." I find it flattering, although sometimes I get art that's subjective.
It's like the weird sci-fi fan art that have like...
They draw like
together.
ears and
I've had people send me what they think I look like.
That's always, you're like, oh.
completely naked, and I'm like, all right, well.
How does that differ? Let's write down notes. But the fan art I get is it's not like that. And I Facetune my life. So when somebody does the fan art, it's their interpretation of how I look, and...
You're like, I could just go to Disneyland for that.
Yeah, it's like, oh my lord. Anyway, but you know what I always like to do is share your latest romance cover.
Yes, you do.
So for those of you guys that don't know, Stephen does a lot of modeling, and they use a lot of his photography like for stock photos.
Okay. Yeah.
And so he doesn't even know what covers he's going to do.
I never know what covers I'm on until
That's
they're
kinda
already
fun.
out.
on hundreds of romance covers.
Well, I would say hundreds, but I would say maybe hundreds.
It is hundreds. And gay, straight, horse, whatever. So this one, what was the title again? It's like...
Forward Progress.
Forward Progress.
I actually really like that photo, so...
No, it's a good photo, especially for Super Bowl time. This is the caption. Meet Graham Tettersaw. Tettersaw? When have you ever seen a Tettersaw? You see what I did there? Former star quarterback, he blew his first shot at success. But now he has... But now he has a second chance at playing football and at having a life. ... In football, getting the ball down the field and scoring is his goal number one. Life isn't all that much different. That's why Graham is hoping to do some scoring of his own off the field. Especially when he finds out the pretend girlfriend the team has picked out for him, Eden Vetterly, is beyond hot. But it's not all about sex. Graham really likes Eden, and she likes him too. A lot. Too bad the team just changed all the worlds, but it's not all about sex. Boom.
But it is all about sex.
But these names, Eden Vetterly, I mean, Kasey, send her a note.
The names are what's holding you up here. You're not the whole description. Nothing else stood out to you. It's just the names.
These last names I can't.
Nothing else.
Hey, I was reading Twilight before it was a movie, and I'm like, this is good. Required reading. Oh my God. Yes, exactly. We have a real author here.
He always likes to pick fun at me.
But we're going to have Stephen's pop culture report at the middle of the show. We're all going to spill the tea, and there's a lot of tea going on, by the way, in the land of Hollywood. I want to introduce our guest of honor today, Doug Jacobson with Equality Vodka, the official vodka of On the Rocks radio show. A Renaissance businessman, this Texan served in the Air Force for 4 years, got a degree in theater, got a degree in painting and design, published City Pages magazine for 9 years, launched Equality Vodka 5 years ago, and most recently founded the Equality Vodka spin-off, Equality Vodka Scented Candles. Oh, I was hoping it was going to make like a thump.
It kind of did.
These smell so good.
He just wants his hand. Like,
That's not the sound I want to hear. You know what I mean? Anyway, but we are here for a giveaway. But Doug, your brand has become such an integral part of the show, before the show, during the show, and sometimes after the show.
That's what it's supposed to be.
And I tell you, I never wake up with a hangover with Equality Vodka. But do you have professional ADD or what? You have done a little bit of everything.
I just never wanted to look back and go, damn, I wish I'd have done that. And so when I felt like I had gotten to a point and something else caught my eye, I went, normally I had to invent a job and then talk somebody into actually hiring me to do it.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that method.
No, I really like
want
that.
this to be a job. Pay me for it.
Yeah.
Right.
Professional drunk.
Yeah. Well,
You never know, maybe.
I was close when I was in the music business.
There you go.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what led to this, right?
That's what led to it.
But actually, starting a vodka line is pretty adventurous. And then to market to a very niche market, such as you put Equality on that, and people are like, boom, there's a natural reaction to it. It's like, oh, it's a gay vodka. Well, it's not a gay vodka, although it can make you gay if you drink enough. I'm just teasing. No. You're born that way. But the alcohol business, what have been some of the biggest obstacles in starting a vodka line?
Money.
Yeah.
I mean, truly, that when you get down to it, you before you've made $1, you've designed a bottle, had it produced, produced the alcohol, you fill it. I mean, all of that's happened before. All the money's going away before anything's coming back. And part of what we did with Equality was we actually built the 20% into the gross profit.
Got it.
Rather than the net.
Yeah.
Because we knew that we were going to work for years before there would be net profit.
Right.
And by adding it literally into the cost of the product, we knew we would be making a contribution from day one. And that's truly what drove this whole project. Having the theater degree in high school in the 60s, you're in a theater department that's, say, 70% of the men in the department, or boys back then, were gay.
Yeah.
But nobody was out. 1965 in Texas, nobody was out in high school.
And everybody was wearing tight pants, so you couldn't even tell by that.
Right.
Right?
There was no way. And as I aged and moved, you go away to school, and then you go, oh, wow, all my friends are gay, And they're like, you're gay, right? And I'm like, no. I'm the gayest man you know that truly enjoys straight sex.
Oh.
And that's the way I've been defined for the last 50 years, was people literally tell the world, oh, he's completely gay. It's just he's into straight sex.
So the original Metro.
The original Metro.
There you go. You were Metro before it was cool. And
Yeah.
it's so funny because we're in such an age of labels right now. Gay, feminist, all of these labels that now we're just putting labels out, and we have to fit that label exactly, or else people don't know what to do with us.
Right.
Which I totally disagree with. Even being from the LGBT community, it's like just be you.
Right. And I've just been a part of the community for my entire life. Didn't realize it for a long time. And then I started losing friends. I lost some friends because all my other friends were gay, and they went, no, not going to hang out with you.
Fear.
And then when I was in the Air Force, a very close friend of mine was in a relationship with somebody in the small town we were stationed in, and he started blackmailing him. And because at that point in time, in 1969, if you came out as gay in the military, they put you in jail.
Yeah.
Federal penitentiary. He volunteered for Vietnam and was killed.
Oh, my God.
So my desire to find a way to try and bring communities that all want the same thing. I mean, we really all want the same thing. We want people to love us. We want to feel secure in our life. We want to be able to live the life as genuinely as possible. And as somebody that lives in two worlds, I've taken some lumps over that. I moved to L.A. in the 80s, straight to West Hollywood, because it was the safest, nicest place I could afford.
I was going to say, rents were good in the 80s.
Right.
God, I wish I would have been an infant in an apartment.
But I have almost no friends from that time period.
Yeah.
It was, and at that point in time, I went, at some point in my life, I'm going to hit a point where I can do something to try and correct this. I know I can't change the world, but if I can just make a few people's lives better because of the different nonprofits and different things that we do. Earlier we were talking about drag queens. Well, Bert Gallagher and I, my business partner and I, started a charity in Austin called the Equality Alliance. We just had our third year gala, and what we do is we put a drag show on that if you have ever been on stage, you cannot compete.
I love that.
So we have 8 competitors, always at least one of them straight. Nobody wants the straight guy to win at all.
I think that's great.
We had 800 people there this year.
Oh, my God. Congratulations.
The gentleman that won, the 2 days before the competition, his car burnt up. I mean, like died. It was gone. So we got him a ride to the show. One of our friends bought him a raffle ticket for the Mercedes they give a 3-year lease away on. So he won the competition and then won the raffle.
Oh, my God.
Okay, so you're doing something right when those are the kind of things that happen to you because of something you've started. For me, even if Equality Vodka doesn't fly, knowing that the Equality Alliance in Austin will keep motoring ahead because everybody loves it so much.
Well, and Equality Vodka has been involved in many projects, LGBT, and so we thank you for being such a great ally. Thank you for your wonderful product. And you're giving away even more gifts for the holidays. Equality Vodka is giving away 2 sets of their scented candles. And you guys, not only are they beautiful, but this one is called Rich AF! Exclamation point. Okay.
Nothing smells better.
Yeah, nothing smells better than Rich AF. And this
It's
one,
Rich Af.
Rich AF. That's all I can say on the radio. This one is influencer, but they're so smart and they smell amazing. And so the way that you can win this in time for the holidays, it will be sent to you. Go to any Equality Vodka Instagram post and just hashtag On the Rocks Radio Show, and we'll scour all of those posts, and you'll be automatically entered to win. If you want to enter 5 times,
Just spam it.
yeah, hashtag 5 different posts.
What are the rules here? 'Cause candles are
Hashtag every
beautiful.
post you can
I want-
find.
Yeah.
Do it right now.
Hashtag them
I'm on a
all.
radio show, so
Yeah. We'll take good care of you. But do that because they do a lot of fun posts. There's also recipes that they have, and it's just beautiful to look at. And tag your friends, have them hashtag. But it's a great gift. And again, thank you for being an ally, and thank you for supporting On the Rocks Radio Show, and thank you for supporting our habit of having a good time.
Allies are what make it happen. We step up because we look around and we realize we're talking 7 to 10% of the population. You can't change the world when you have those numbers.
we need help from the
You
majority to
have,
help.
yeah, you have to have people that are compassionate to step up. And anybody being concerned about who's in love with who is kidding themselves that they really have any input into that conversation.
That's exactly. It's like, get out of my bedroom.
Right.
I don't even want to be there. Sometimes. You gentlemen are going to help carry the show along and interview our amazing panel, another great ally to our community, and I am happy to say an On the Rocks favorite, Kasey Lansdale, produced by Grammy Award winner John Carter Cash, is a jack of all trades, or as I like to say, a jack of all trades.
Not wrong.
Accurate.
From a country blues singer and songwriter to actress and author, the small town girl from Nacogdoches, Texas, dreams big as her hair in some of the photo shoots. Now in LA, California resident, she's a regular performer at the famed Hotel Cafe in Hollywood. Her music has been featured in such films such as Cold in July, starring award-winning actor Michael C. Hall. Of course, we love him as Dexter. IFC Channel, Animal Planet, and the award-winning Sundance TV channel series Hap and Leonard, where she actually appeared as an actress as well. As a vocalist, she walks the line between traditional and contemporary sounds throughout. And that's a Billboard quote, by the way.
Yeah.
As an author, Lansdale was first published at the tender age of 8 by Random House, and is the author of several short stories and novellas, along with publications from HarperCollins, Titan Books, and many others. Her latest collection, Terror Is Our Business, was lauded by Publishers Weekly, a storytelling that delightfully takes on a lighter and sharper edge. And most recently, her collaboration with her father and brother, The Companion, was adapted to episode 4 of the television remake of Shudder's CREEPSHOW, by the way. Iconic. Produced by The Walking Dead producer Greg Nicotero, and fans will have the chance to watch Lansdale on a new reality TV show on the USA Network in early 2020. I didn't know about this, by the way. I'm proud to call her a friend. Please welcome back to the show, Kasey Lansdale.
Thank you. It's so good to be here. It's just, every time I'm around you guys, it's just like, home.
Like, you and I have shared so many different things. We've shared the radio show. You appeared on the first season of my first TV show.
Yes.
We have shared the stage together at Rockwell singing.
That was so fun. We've got to do another one.
Yeah, we do. It was a little intimidating, though, to be in rehearsal with you.
No.
Because you're like, okay, let's do this. You're like, can we up the key? Can we modulate? And I'm like, where's my music? What's going on? And we sang these boots are... No, we sang
Son of a Preacher Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, and you had the first verse, and she was like, ran, ran, ran. And I'm like... Yes, she was. She was.
That's not true. You were great. You totally held your own.
But you inspired me. And actually, you're going to be performing for us in studio here, so I'm very excited.
Yeah, I've got a new single coming out.
I know. I'm so excited.
Me too.
And the new picture's coming out with the red dress.
Yeah.
Oh, girl, sexing it.
Thank you. A lot of makeup.
No. I have seen you in sweatpants at the Abbey, and you're just radiant, and all the gays are like, what her name is. Love you, Kasey Lansdale. Also making his On the Rocks debut, Chad Allen Ortiz. So much talent, he needs 3 names. You know, if you were white, your name would be Chad Michael Chad. Did you know that?
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm
you would be on the hill.
half white,
Chad
so that's
Michael
why I got a
Chad.
little bit of it.
Which half of you is white?
The Chad part.
Chad Allen.
Oh, I was at the top or the
You
bottom?
just said.
No. Chad Allen is the executive director of the contemporary dance company and nonprofit Nickerson Rossi Dance and the International Dance Festival. He has choreographed, taught, or assisted Nickerson Rossi Dance programming at 8 high schools, 9 universities, worked with the Princeton Ballet, New York Live Arts, Los Angeles Dance Festival, and Cape Cod Dance Festival. And programs through NRD and the International Dance Festival. He has coordinated over 32 high schools, 35 universities, 20 professional dance companies and choreographers, countless amounts of dance studios and academies all across the nation. He runs his own marketing and branding company known as Transparent Compositions, where he has been instrumental in building the International Dance Festival brand with skill sets in graphic design, photography, videography, marketing, and data analysis. He's in the process of expanding the growth of the International Dance Festival, which originated in Palm Springs. We know Palm Springs is very close to my heart, and is now presenting in Philadelphia, New Jersey, Puerto Rico, London, and UK in 2020. He is the principal dancer of Nickerson Rossi Dance, performing nationally and internationally throughout California, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, South Carolina, New Jersey, New York, Delaware, Italy, London, and Puerto Rico. He has also become a social media influencer with his modeling pics, being seen internationally and appreciated very much on Instagram by many different people. Please welcome Chad Allen Ortiz.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. You know, and the pics of your dancing is just remarkable. I want you to kind of walk through the process. You know, we always see the finished product of dance. Mm-hmm. And in college, I went to Chapman University and I studied theater, and part of it, we had to do tech for a dance show. And I had never understood the complexities of dance, from the rehearsal to the stress that the dancers go through to the tech part of it, which is like you're focusing on yourself, and then there's lights and the costuming and all that. I want you to walk us through this rehearsal here, and this is, I mean, we're seeing it bare bones here.
So this is a rehearsal process with Nickerson Rossi Dance. This is my partner, Sarah Warren, who's as tall as me, so she's 6'2" as well. So it's lovely dancing with her because we just are expansive through the space. This is in Philadelphia. I'm trying to remember what we're preparing for because this dance has been going on for about 3 years now. We first did it at a gala in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Just to introduce ourselves, we're working at Uptown Canauer Performing Arts Center. We were going to be resident dance company there, or we were a resident dance company there. I believe this was for Direct Link. We were the professional element for a program that we produced. Pretty much Direct Link was to connect high school students to dance programs. So we had Irvine Valley College, we had Johns Hopkins University, Peabody Institute, and who was a third? We had a third college as well. And yeah, I mean, in terms of like the rehearsal process, the work has become so familiar to me that it's a little bit more like second skin. Nickerson Rossi Dance I've been with for 5 years now, and it took me a while to get with the aesthetics of the company because when I first started dancing, I trained in Southern California, which is all commercial based, so hip hop, jazz, like TV dancing, commercial dancing. And then after high school, I started working for the company, and this is concert dance, so it's contemporary modern work where we do more of theater-based work. And the modern work is not predominant in California at all. I think that's more of an East Coast thing with New York being the main leading industry. But you get some of that here. Los Angeles is definitely blown up in terms of the concert dance world, and it's pushing itself in that direction. But yeah.
What are some of the brutal realities that we as a mainstream audience don't understand about the dance world? I mean, it could be even as basic as being hungry all the time.
See, I think that's the brutal reality, is the starving artist, right? So that's the stigma that I'm trying to change in being an executive director and understanding the role of who I am and what I do to the public and how I educate dance. People tend to think of us as starving artists, which, I mean, I guess if you want to take that route, you can. But I use all these different skill sets to apply and change that stigma. So I started off as an apprentice, so that was just training after high school. Then I worked my way to company dancer, then principal dancer, and then I started education direction, that's how I got all the university, high school, and college connections. I actually didn't go to college myself. I just started training through the company and learning through that academically. And then now that we produce the International Dance Festival, we have all these connections nationally, and we bring in education throughout the world. And that really backs the company. I think if you're a dance company that doesn't have education, that's going to be difficult to function. That's really the backbone of who we are and what we do, and really helps make profit to support what we do.
Well, the work that you've done at such a young age is pretty remarkable. You know, we're in an age right now where funding for the arts, appreciation for the arts is waning. Even in our world of flipping through Instagram and watching a clip on YouTube for 2 seconds, to sit and watch a dance piece that has a beginning, middle, or end, or even a song for that matter. And I know we talked about this.
I can see that.
It's very difficult to capture that audience in that magical way that the art was first meant for.
Right.
In a theater, without people having cell phones, without eating popcorn, without, giving their Instagram reviews.
Well, and that's how I
longer
feel.
than 15 seconds.
Right,
you know?
exactly. And you have to know that market, right? Because that's how you're pitching to people, is on social media now. But I think that's part of the problem. That's not really going to change. So you need to be aware of that. But the fact that people come to dance concerts and they're not prepared to tune in or to digest or think. Musical theater is a little bit easier because it spoon feeds you how to feel, and you could sing along and you could have fun. But like a concert dance, most of the people are alienated by it because they're like, that's cool, it's athletic, it's pretty, I don't know what the hell's going on, I don't know how to feel. And that's okay. And that's part of our responsibility as educators, as choreographers, as producers, to guide you through that. But going back with the social media, like, that's my problem. I think it's great that we have dance on television today, like So You Think You Could Dance and World of Dance. It's amazing the audiences that it's reaching today. Generally, when I tell people that I dance, they're like, oh, so World of Dance, or oh, So You Think You Could Dance, like, okay, yeah, I mean, that's all you could get from it. That's fine. But the problem with it is they do 1-minute dances, they do 2-minute dances. I mean, this duet, which is a shorter duet, is 6 minutes alone. So keeping people engaged for that long of a time staying with us that long of a time is a big responsibility, but it's our responsibility.
And it's funny, some of the questions I got worded differently, but for both of you to answer was reality TV, the effect of reality TV has on your genre. As you said, the dance competitions, we see a very certain popular style of dance. It's quick edited, you're in, you're out. And then we see D-list celebrities muddling through a foxtrot. You know, that's our exposure to dance.
Yeah.
I'm not naming names. And then music, it's the same way.
As soon as you said it, my first thought was The Voice and American Idol
Yeah.
because everybody, have you ever gone on The Voice? Have you ever done
Yeah.
American? And I'm like, well, because that people have no idea that what goes on behind that. People have no idea that that's not real. Those aren't.
Yeah.
And most of the people who get cast on that are people who've had record deals. They've lost the record deals.
That's
They've
what a lot of
already got a
people don't
following.
understand.
People just use The Voice as like a platform to try to
Yeah.
get back up into
But for the
it.
mainstream, it's like, you're only famous if you've done The Voice or American Idol. It's like,
No.
what?
And that's
Right.
and the thing is that's the opposite because name
I
one
know.
person from The Voice. An American voice, like Leona Lewis. Name one other person from The Voice.
Okay, I didn't even know if she was from the.
I didn't even.
I didn't
I was like,
either.
wow, get a Leo.
She was the UK one, yeah.
I know Carrie Underwood and Kelly Clarkson
And
from.
they're American Idol.
Kelly
American
Clarkson,
Idol.
I think, is the only one. who-
Adam
That's it.
Lambert,
The
yeah.
Voice
Haley
isn't
Reinhart.
about the singers. It's
Yeah.
about
But
it's
that's
about
what's
the celebrities.
and that's what's crazy about it is because people are not programmed to pay attention to the skill or the talent. They are programmed to see. Have I seen this name before in news?
Or
You know,
there's like,
Newsweek?
it's Kelly Clarkson's team. I have to vote for
How many
this
followers
person,
do you have?
know?
Are you famous? It's like, you
Yeah,
got
and
how many-
people buy those followers. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Don't get,
But that's every
it's
industry
like,
now. I
don't
mean,
get me started. You know.
And then they had the four with like P Diddy and like that. I mean, what was her name?
Oh, Danny DeCane, is that what you're talking about?
No, the four with P Diddy. It was P Diddy, Megan Trainor, and then one other.
right,
guy.
right,
And they
right.
had that for 2 seasons where they had
Oh, I
like
have
these.
no idea.
So
Yeah.
you know who did the test runs for that show to make sure that the show worked?
Are you
This
serious?
girl.
What do you
So-
mean? What did you do?
So when they're practicing
I went to
the
one
show,
of those. That's so funny.
they have people come out and do the performances. And so they're kind of like workshopping it. And so
functions.
yeah,
the
and so they
production
call
side.
you in to do, they call in singers to come in and do that and like kind of practice it. And so it's funny because like doing it from that angle, you watch and they have these roles that they need to fill, and most of the times, like the stories that you hear on The Voice and all that, it's
When you hear that
I
piano
lived in
playing,
a car and my
their
life
dog
is
has
sad,
3 legs.
and-
Oh my God, I
and
know.
all
There's
of
like a
those things may
storyline
be
now.
true.
It's
Yeah.
all
but it's so
story.
But
manufactured.
that's exactly
Yeah.
it. It's like just because it may be true, and bless them because we've all got our struggles. But the fact that they're only using that, as you say,
Capitalizing off of
manufactured,
it. Yeah.
then that doesn't make somebody better or worse at their skill, at their talent. And people don't seem to understand that there is a difference of someone who's just put on TV because they have a good story, and someone who's been honing their craft for a really long time.
And that's what they do with America's Got Talent so hard. Like they even put people through to the next round that aren't talented whatsoever, but
Right.
it's their story.
and it's a
like-
manufactured performance, as you know. They usually sing with the track until they get to the finals. They're told to look a certain way, sound a certain way, and as a musician, singing live in any type of environment, whether it's a hole-in-the-wall bar, whether it's Carnegie Hall, that's a talent in itself. It's not just singing a great karaoke piece for
Right.
a minute. We've had the benefit lately of having a number of great musicians. We had T-Boz from TLC, Betty, Christine W., American Idol, Zeffie Passero, all different genres. And there was a common theme with everybody's story is with so much content out there, how do you, as a musician, have your voice heard? How do you make money? Because audiences seem more fickle. Buying albums is not what it used to be.
No.
And, social media, we've talked about when you do one of your glamour shots, your likes go through the roof for Instagram. Then you post 30 seconds of a song. It's like, oh, that's
Yeah.
nice. Next.
And it's, excuse me, it's very frustrating for me, especially to kind of maintain what is for me integrity, because I know that there are a lot of ways that I could garner more hits, more likes, more followers, but that's not myself, that's not my brand, that's not kind of who I am, and that's not what I do. So I do find the challenge of if I post some kind of cutie cute photo, they're all over it, and then if I post something that I spent 6 months writing, recording, working on, and I just want you to pay attention for 15 seconds, it's like, oh, shiny, and I'm just, ugh. But you keep going because there are the people who do listen, there are the people who pay attention, and they're the people who get it, and those are the people you're doing it for, and ultimately you're doing it for yourself because you can't not do it.
It's like going to a listening room where you walk in and everybody is silent.
My favorite places.
When somebody's performing, everybody just focuses on that, and the performance goes through the roof.
Yeah.
I mean, you
'Cause
get
you get
everybody's
that energy.
is just directed straight at you. It's a wonderful thing.
It's a fine line between dealing with sexuality. I know Stephen is an accomplished classical pianist. When he posts his videos on YouTube playing classical music, it was like, eh. Then he plays it the same thing, shirtless, and then all of a
Right.
sudden it's like, oh, this is a viral video now.
Yeah.
And I know, Chad, you have done the transition. Your dance talent speaks for itself with your accomplishments and everything that you've done, but you've also modified to this model, being in print magazines,
Sex sells.
being on
Sad
runway.
to say, sex
Yeah.
sells.
And it's this dichotomy.
And I'm always like, bring me my sweatpants, you know?
Nothing at the Abbey during happy hour, and she still looks more beautiful
Get
than
you a girl
anybody
can do
else does.
But I agree. I mean,
That's the girl that can do many, yeah. But and I know because we talked. You're not a prude, but you're like you are a
authentic to
classic
yourself.
entertainer where it's the skill first, and you're not going to show your goods for free.
It's just it's a different thing. And also growing up where I grew up, my family, especially there, is extremely liberal. I mean, it's nothing to do with conservative mindset. It's more that country music that I grew up. I mean, when Reba, I don't know if you saw the CMAs, she had on 3 layers.
Yeah.
She started off with that like feather, robe situation, and then she stripped that off, and then she was in a regular sparkly dress. Then she stripped that off, and then she was in what was a beautiful but normal gown. And country music went wild. I mean, A, because it's Reba, but B, because she's stripping off. And that's about as risque as it gets. I mean, when she wore the red dress back in the 90s with the deep V-cut, that was in the news.
I remember.
That was the biggest
I
deal.
was young. I couldn't read the news.
The first headline that I remember seeing about country music, I think it was Country Weekly, and it was Shania Twain, and she was in a crop top and shorts, and the headline was, "Who says country isn't sexy?" And that was so scandalous. And it's hard to believe now, but that's sort of the era that I came of age. Yeah. So a crop top and shorts was about as crazy as we were getting, and especially that fine line of being a female and being in a male-dominated industry. You walk a fine line of being interpreted as something that you may not want to be interpreted as, and also setting some sort of expectation that may not be the expectation that you're trying to set, because unfortunately people aren't able to separate always your look and your reality.
I talked to an actress yesterday who was talking about the Me Too movement and sexuality. We have this movement where we're not supposed to pay attention to sexuality or react to it, but she's an actress, says, I want to look sexy. I want to have a low-cut gown. I want to show some leg. And there's this dichotomy that entertainment is playing with us as how we're supposed to react.
Well, and there's a difference of, you want to dress up. I'm sure we all want to look nice and be appreciated for certain things, but there is a way to do it, a time and a place. And basically, it's just common sense and human decency. Don't be weird. Don't make super long, awkward eye contact if you see the other just read the room, yo. Just see what's happening. And if that person seems uncomfortable, then stop doing it. If that person seems open to it, then carry on. Just be a normal
But it's
person.
so dangerous. Are we flirting or are we being creepy? I don't know, because I do
But
both.
you realize how terrible people are with social cues, because a lot of people don't.
Some people aren't aware.
People
of
just
it.
don't have them. A lot of people don't have very good social
or self-awareness alone.
Well,
awareness in general.
But you do this a lot because you model for a lot of underwear brands, and so people think that they can just touch you in a certain way, make comments in a certain way that are so inappropriate.
I had some guy lick my arm
Oh,
at
God.
a
That even makes me shudder.
stoplight. At a stoplight. I was waiting for a crosswalk, and this person's talking to me, and then just decides that they were going to start making out with my arm.
That is so weird.
And they were not even on drugs. They were not even on drugs.
That's not even an excuse. Like, even if they were. Yeah. Alex is like, I had on a wig that day.
Oh, I thought it looked familiar.
How dare you? We're going to take a quick break to take our On the Rocks selfie that you can find at Instagram, at On the Rocks on Air. And we come back, we are doing our pop culture. We're spilling the tea. Coming up, we also have an in-studio performance by Kasey Lansdale.
Cassie?
Sure.
That's right. Equality.
And we are going to talk about the industry. We have a lot more to talk about and some interesting tidbits about our guests. So stay tuned. Okay, everybody pose for this selfie. You guys have to scooch in because my arms are very short.
It's always flattering.
Yeah.
I think
guys,
the whole like
We're missing that half of
Doug
the
and
room.
Steven.
Okay, well, you need to move your arm to the right.
Here, you want me to do it?
Yeah, if you have...
Stand by.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
All right.
It's not about the height. It's
Okay,
about the
we're
length.
gonna do a 3 second
Don't
timer.
swipe, Kasey.
Horizontal, not vertical.
All right, 3 seconds. Let's do one more. Kurt, you're kind of hiding back there. Is that on purpose?
The creeper.
Perfect. Okay. All right, you guys, and we're back. Make sure you find that very interesting. Just to warm up the room a little bit more, because we're already on fire with our opinions. Let's continue with our pop culture report. Kurt, take it away. Don't mind if I do.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say.
On the Rocks is proud to present Pop on the Rocks, your daily dose of Dehler with your host, Stephen Dehler, bringing us the latest dish in pop culture. Take it away, Stephen. I'll be in the corner drinking.
As you are in the corner drinking.
True story.
You recorded that years ago, and it still hasn't changed.
It could be for anything. It could be a funeral, a bar mitzvah. Like, I'll be in the corner.
brisk.
A brisk, not a brisk.
No, I don't know. I
That
don't
was
know
not a
what they are.
brisk.
I was like,
That brisk should not be
brisket? Are we
risky.
doing barbecue?
That's
That's where I went with that.
Okay.
That's
Well,
where I went
That's
too.
Texas.
There you go. Oh,
The
I think
meat.
that one's mine.
Oh, then I need one. Okay. Okay.
All right, so first up
happened?
on my list of topics is so the AMAs they just announced recently the performers and the nominations. I'll start off with the nominations because the performances is where the drama is. But the nominations, so who's leading the pack right now is Post Malone, Billie Eilish, and Ariana Grande.
Ariana Grande?
Yeah. Billie Eilish and Ariana, let's see, Post racked up 7 nominations, and Billie and Ariana scored 6.
What?
Yeah, including favorite music video, favorite social artist, favorite female artist, and then pop rock and favorite album.
What is social artist? Like social media artist?
Social media artist, I would think.
Okay,
so,
that's
yeah.
ridiculous.
They've been adding social media.
It's like
to,
if the
to-
Oscars had one. It's
Could
like,
you beat me
Favorite
to death
social
with
media
that?
the American. Well, I mean, the American Music Awards and Video Music Awards are more like really into like more youth. I think.
is it like the People's Choice Awards?
Kinda.
Where it's nice to get one, but it really doesn't mean anything.
Sorry, Ariana.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really great for the people that are. I mean, but yeah, I mean, if you're talking about like the Grammys and stuff like that, they probably would not have that.
Have the
category.
social
They would not
award.
have that social.
So,
award,
but
yeah.
as a musician, I have to ask you, knowing, and I know how awards shows work, a lot of it's politics, especially like the AMA.
Yes.
As an artist who's puts your every soul into your latest single, doesn't have this huge record label or team behind you to pay for, your press, to pay for your placement in certain playlists, that's got to be frustrating.
It is frustrating, and you kind of just hope that you keep working and the cream rises to the top. But I mean, you can't really think about it. Or I mean, if we all sat here and thought about like how are all these things going to work out, I think we'd all be very sad, drinking a lot more of the vodka. So actually, for you, things would be great. Keep doing it because you don't have another choice. And people always, when they ask for advice, I just say if there's anything that you enjoy equal or more, do that instead. Because this is the road of disappointments. But if you keep doing it, it's because you love it and you can't not do
Yeah.
it. So it is frustrating. And there are days when I'm just like, why? But that's where I've found that I can diversify my skills. I can do other things.
Yeah.
I do the writing. I have a passion for yoga.
Spin.
I focus on that. I put my energy in other places when I have to. And I wish that I had, the $1 million that Taylor Swift's dad put into her career to get her started, as or the Trump's small $1 million loans, and not to take any away from Taylor Swift. I mean, she's earned it.
Her brand is great.
But the point is, like,
she's in Cats the
all
Musical.
of these people are starting with a lot of money
Yeah.
behind them.
Yes.
And And if they're not starting that way, maybe they're the anomaly and they got discovered, then they are immediately thrust into a position where they can be supported financially in that way.
Yeah,
And then
it
they
takes
enter
a lot
the-
of money to do that.
And then-
stuff.
Right.
They
At that level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they enter this bubble where they forget where they came from and they forget those ties. Let's not forget, Lady Gaga used to perform at Trunks, which is the seediest bar in West
Trunks
Hollywood.
and Here Lounge.
Yeah.
And I first saw
And
her
that's where she was
at,
doing it.
I first saw her in 2007 at, what was it, Tiger Heat.
Tiger
Really?
Heat. Tiger
Wow.
Heat was a step up from Trunks, though.
And she crowd. Well, yeah, and it was,
people
yeah.
are
But
spitting
she's hitting
next
the
to
right
you.
audience from the beginning, right?
Oh yeah, she always
had a plan.
She always knew her crowd. I saw
Yeah.
videos of Lady Gaga back in the day where she'd be like in New York and it'd just be like this a party.
All of
and
her
she'd-
songs were like...
She was just like in the corner of like a just
Yeah.
in the corner. No one's paying attention. People were walking by. It was a crazy video. She's
that
like doing
weird?
like her Just Dance, and it was like because she had that song out for like 2 years.
But it's
before.
like the media says, "Hey, this person's famous," and we're like, "Oh, they're famous."
Right.
It's like, wait, what? Now
Right.
she does have a lot of talent. She is a real musician.
Yeah, and it's not
She's
to
a
take
music
away
performer.
from the skill, but the
Exactly.
point is that the money and
Yeah.
the promotion is what thrusts you into
Yeah.
that.
Well, that's any
place.
arts industry. I mean, you can
Right.
see that with
Yeah.
dance companies, like modern dance companies that have a lot of backing, a lot of money. Doesn't mean that they're good, but
Yeah.
they're traveling and they're getting appreciated because people are telling them, especially in an industry where people don't know what's good or bad. I mean, you have to think of like an artist, contemporary artist, and it's like, that's a blob on a wall, but it's $1 million.
You're basically asking
Yeah.
for an investment in a person, which is like it's different from having investment in a product. The product's going to be this, and that's the product, and that's it. Whereas of investing into a person, the
Yeah.
person's they can change.
Or art in
like-
general.
Yeah,
it's so
you're used to
subjective.
investing in a product.
Yeah.
But that's interesting about the dance world because I don't even think about that.
Yeah.
There's like a whole culture going on there that I have nothing,
Right.
no knowledge of.
But moving on because we were talking about Taylor Swift, so I want to talk about the performances. So they're having Camila Cabello, Billie Eilish, Dua Lipa, Lizzo, Green Day, Selena
Green Day?
Gomez. Yeah,
Good for you, Green Day.
Christina Aguilera,
Thank you.
Post Malone, and Post Malone with Ozzy Osbourne.
Wow.
I mean, I could kind of
Do you know why? I don't know if it's public. Remember the Osbournes was one of the first MTV reality shows?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kelly Osbourne was just on the Masked
Oh,
Singer.
sorry. Okay. They may be coming back as a family on reality.
Oh,
TV.
that would be great. I actually would see
that
that.
makes sense.
Although I
Yeah.
thought,
Yeah,
I would actually
That's
see
why
that.
this is happening. It's
Yeah.
all calculated. Months before we even know.
The whole
Right.
drama is right now because like Taylor Swift, she doesn't know if she's going to perform or not because there's all this drama right now because with Scooter Braun,
I don't even know what a Scooter Braun is.
Yeah,
I gotta
Scooter
like
Braun.
these
Is this a
are
song?
Scooter Braun. So the name of the label is called Big Machine Label Group.
Right, they're
and
out of Nashville.
They bought all of Taylor Swift's old catalog.
right. She's having to recut everything, right?
And so that's what she's planning on doing is remake all of her old catalog so that she can. But right now, currently,
She'll make money off of herself?
no,
no. She's just doing it so she can perform
So,
them
like,
again.
my
and then
first
she can,
record
and then she
deal,
can have
I
like,
had to
them
buy
on,
my
on
masters
Spotify
back.
and stuff like that
Right.
because this company basically she needed to get permission from them to perform her old catalog at the
Okay,
AMAs.
this is boggling my mind. I know Judy Garland had to buy her original scores from Sid Luft, who was her
Did
husband.
you not
by
hear
the
about
way.
this last year, like earlier this year, when
bits
like
and pieces. I was
Scooter
drinking
Braun like
Equality
bought all
vodka.
of her old
Number one,
catalog or
that's a made-up
something?
name. But you had to buy
Well,
your
of
own
course,
master?
it's Hollywood.
Yeah. I had to buy my own masters back so that because when the time came, they wouldn't. They decided not to release them. I guess they shelved it, is what it's called. So the only way that I could use these songs that I'd written, that I'd spent the time recording,
That's you.
that's me, yeah. And that was the album Restless. Is I had to purchase my own masters, which
Yep.
they are not cheap. And then you get your masters back, and then you have ownership of them, and then you can play them and
You
sell
don't
them as
own
much
your
as you
own
want.
music. It's nuts,
but
right?
yeah, because they
business
front
is
you the
crazy.
money. So
You have to buy
the
back
deal
your
is
music.
they give you like $250,000, more or less, and then they say, okay, go make an album. And then you make an album, and then the theory is that they get their money back in sales. Well, sales are not really a thing. So now they get
Not
their
at all.
money back. If you get a record deal these days, it's typically a 360 deal. So that means they're getting your merch, they're getting your appearances, they're getting your tour, they're getting every single thing that you make money on. The record label is making money off of it, even if it's not the music. Whereas used to, the artist kept all of that, and the label got just the money off of the CD sales. Now it's not a thing.
That's why a lot of people are independent and they're not even doing
Well-
Well,
record
in
labels.
Apple iTunes, I sell a song for $1
Yeah.
after I work, and it's
Yeah.
like, and I don't think it should be inaccessible. I mean, a hardback book is $30 now. That's hard for people to pick up, but It's like
My
$1 for a
reading headphone,
song.
I'll be honest.
Well, so
Yeah.
the issue is because like you don't actually need permission from a label to perform at a live show. You don't. But
Even if it's nationally televised?
Yeah, the issue is if that they want to take that nationally televised video and put it on YouTube and then have it be
Monetized.
for the public,
Like
for the general
American Idol
audience.
releases
And
every
so
singer.
they need to
Okay.
have permission from that label. If Taylor so happens to decide, she hasn't decided yet. We won't know until the show if she's going to perform any of her old
Oh,
songs.
she knows. It's the anticipation.
Well, I bet you. I hope.
She has to rehearse.
I hope,
Yeah.
she has to rehearse.
I hope she does
Well,
recut everything.
I hope whatever she does perform, if she performs something from her old catalog, that it's a recut version and she changed. Like
Yeah,
it's a
same.
Totally different.
It's totally
like,
different.
Like
It's
a
change
violin
up.
and a guitar or
Just
something.
completely different.
Yeah.
Change that version, but that's the main attraction right now. Her and I would say Christina Aguilera would be a main attraction. I think everyone really
I
is
love
curious
Christina.
to see what she's gonna do.
Her record label did her wrong.
Shocking. I am shocked
Yeah.
to hear this information.
It's
Please.
gonna move my Botox.
Please.
Hold on.
I
one second.
know.
Christina's a real musician. She can perform
incredible.
like nobody's business.
Yeah.
Her music is good, just people haven't heard it or it wasn't sold as
I heard
hot
she's
clips.
she's really difficult too.
Hey, I would be
she's
too if I was
really-
Christina. Are you kidding? I'm difficult now.
Well,
I have a podcast.
that's a whole nother show to deal with. Anyway, moving on.
Wait, along those lines, my apologies to Del Taco on Burbank Boulevard.
I love Del Taco. Okay, moving on.
I was about to have a whole moment. Okay.
All right, switching gears to something into reality TV, which we were talking about earlier. So they announced at BravoCon. Is that the first year that they're doing? So there's a convention just for everything.
It's
now.
first, and it was sold out months in advance. I'm a Bravo. You know, we've had a number of Bravo.
Listen, I
people
know,
on this
I
show.
understand. There's a definite market
Love
for
it.
it. I just thought it's hilarious that they have a BravoCon now. So, but
They
anyway,
need it.
they announced
Money.
I mean, the channel alone, it makes
I'd
sense.
like to say I got this jacket at CatCon.
the cat convention.
It was up the street from where I live.
I don't even know. I don't even know.
Cat lady on the top.
Oh my god.
So yes, there is a convention for everything.
All right, well, okay, so
If it's not a cat eating convention, I'm not gonna go.
next year I'm going to be your +1.
I
'cause
despise
that's
cats and
hilarious.
children
I
so
need
much.
to go. Oh well, whatever.
Casey,
Anyway, so
I don't even know what to do with
I
this
had to
information.
I did speak about this because I thought it was like I was thinking
I
like,
needed
what's
to
the
know.
drama? What's the drama going to be? Their next housewives that they announced is going to be Salt Lake City.
Seriously?
Is
Yeah.
there like last
Mormon.
call
It's
at
gonna-
like 8
It's
p.m.?
serious. It's going to be a bunch of Mormon housewives.
Are they
You can't
drunk?
go on
Are
at
they gonna
5
drink?
in the
No,
afternoon.
you cannot drink.
Yeah.
You cannot drink if you're Mormon.
So this is going to be a very interesting spin on this
Just be
show.
like, I'm really upset right now.
They're gonna fight over Zenga. They're gonna be playing Zenga, and it's gonna be a shit
They're
show.
gonna be pissed off at like the next quilting store. Like I have no like, what are they gonna be angry about? Like,
I can tell you what they're angry about.
Yeah, not be able to. You know they're gonna be. I mean, Bravo's gonna be like the producers are gonna show up.
but
with,
Oh,
like,
okay,
Quality
so
Vodka. They're gonna be like, "Hey, girl."
is water.
so in an official statement regarding the new installment, Bravo explained the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City takes viewers into an undiscovered world that is about so much more than religion. Although the Mormon
it?
church is undeniably ingrained in the culture, in the majestic mountains of. It sounds like one of my fucking.
I was gonna say.
Oh my God, 100%.
All right, what would be this? Okay, I can't with you guys. Okay, so anyway, back to my monologue.
Yep.
In the majestic mountains of Utah is a hidden social circle made up of successful women who created their own paradise filled with luxury homes, shopping sprees, and multi-million-dollar businesses and brands, aka everything that's in Los Angeles, but without the booze. I added that part. With Hollywood's exclusive Sundance Film Festival in their backyards,
well,
these
that's
type.
interesting.
Yeah, that's right. That's the only thing that they're gonna have.
That's gonna be the finale.
Well, I mean, they only film those shows like 3 months out of the year, and then none of those girls talk to each other the rest of the time.
That's actually very true.
These type A power brokers are accustomed to rubbing elbows with A-listers, and what party list you are on means everything. They have mastered running wildly successful enterprises by day and enjoy. Do you say that word? Après ski? Is that what that is?
I can't even see it.
Yeah,
There's
it's
so
fine.
much time.
I have so much words there. Anyway, at the finest resorts by night, so they're probably going to be in Aspen.
It's fancy ski people.
Yeah,
But
basically.
here's the thing: Bravo is now just putting in they're not even writing their own press releases. They're using
Google search.
hashtag expert
Right.
to put together every word in there. It doesn't even make sense.
I know.
But it's a hashtag.
Google a thesaurus.
So I'm a Bravo lover. I'm an advocate. It's getting harder and harder to watch those housewives because the stories are now just all about fighting and whining, where before it was interspliced with actual life and
Well, I remember
it was something different.
I had a friend that was close to that whole housewife genre, and they were supposed to come out a couple years ago. I was told that they were going to come out a couple years ago to, publicly to say how everything's basically scripted and everything's basically fake, and that that's what it all basically is. And they never did that. And I mean,
because they can't afford it. They need the numbers because
Middle
viewers
America
are not
completely
watching as
believes
much.
all of this is real.
Right.
All of it is completely fake. These women do not hang out together. They are not friends. They film this show 3 months a year and then drag it out for 6
Friends
months.
don't even hang out together.
This is true on that amount of time.
True.
Right? Yeah.
Don't look
True.
at me, Casey.
You see them when they're filming and they do their drama, and then they go off and do their own things.
Well, that's reality TV.
That's reality.
Wait,
Reality
Why-
TV is not reality.
I've had the benefit of hanging out with a lot of these people. Had the benefit of being on some of the shows. There are certain
I've hung
casts.
out with them too.
Yeah, there are certain casts that it is real to a certain extent. I have been a
all
Real
embellished.
Housewives of Beverly Hills where Kyle said something funny and then she had to say it 3 times in a different camera angle.
Yeah.
While we had to sit there and then we were just in the background. Shaw's of Sunset, very real. Vanderpump Rules is very real.
Well,
Not their lifestyle, but
did you
their
just say-
fights are
yeah,
real.
but the other two things that you just
They're
named,
upset.
but the other two shows you just named weren't Housewives. Shaw's of Sunset
Yeah.
and Vanderpump Rules. Yeah, you have Lisa, but it's all about the crazy stuff, which, by the way, I know a bunch of them, and they are insane. But
All right, let's get to our shady moment of the week.
was that not it? Oh, damn. Okay, so our shady moment of the week is kind of funny. So an Uber driver is suing Lizzo for defamation.
What's she taking Uber for, by the way?
She didn't take an Uber. She got.
She wasn't there.
It's not even. It's not even. It's not. They just for some reason they said it's an Uber driver, but the Uber driver was doing a Postmates delivery, and so back.
This is a whole different story.
Yes, girl. Back in September, I love this because I read it online and I thought it was hilarious. It said self-proclaimed bop star. Lizzo had an issue with a Postmates delivery. Instead of handling it, she decided to post about it on social media, and she said, "quote Hey, at Postmates, this girl," she wrote her name, Tiffany W, stole my food. She lucky I don't fight no more. Yeah, and so,
did she
playful.
bring a delivery of food and then
Yeah.
steal it?
so apparently the girl
she
just
was missing,
apparently
just kidding.
Well,
Yeah.
I've had Postmates
Joke's
before
on
where
you.
sometimes the order ended up just getting canceled for whatever reason, and yeah, it pissed me off. And I messaged Postmates, and then they just were like, "Okay, we'll refund you, or we can credit your account so the next time your order."
I don't have time for any of that because when you're ordering food for home, you
Yeah,
don't want to do
it
anything
angers,
but get
it
the
angers
food.
you. But anyways, because she posted about it, and she had so many followers that person got so many hate messages
Thank
and
God.
and almost
How dare you not deliver her food?
and so because her name is Tiffany Wells, and so she's now
Say her name more.
it's public.
Run,
Tiffany Wells.
Tiffany,
Tiffany Wells.
run.
Tiffany Wells.
Daughter of John Wells
I
from
found it.
Gilligan's Island.
I found it all over social media. It's all over the place because she said because of that she's suing her for defamation and emotional distress. And she might,
ridiculous.
she probably will win because she was not in the wrong according to what happened, I guess, on the app. So Lizzo's gonna have to pay
Social
up
media
for that.
gone
For
bad.
that, I hope that meal was worth it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it wasn't. She didn't get it.
But worth it
She's
enough to make
Lizzo,
that
though.
post.
Lizzo, she could call any restaurant and say, "Hey, the restaurant itself, come bring me a
know.
whole spread, set it up.
Why was she doing?
I want
Why was she doing
waiter."
Postmates? I guess I don't know. Whatever.
I have to tell you, the food delivery service has gotten ridiculous.
It's terrible. It's so bad.
you have to go outside now to get it, and I'm my hair's sticking up. I have pajamas half on, half
Well,
off.
it's called DoorDash. Not I have to go out to the front door to get to the car dash.
Yeah.
Like that's what
With
it
my
is
hair
now. They don't
sticking.
even come to your door.
It's not like it was. Yes.
I've done it once.
I have done it once.
I ordered.
It was fine.
It was a good
No,
experience, actually.
It was Uber Eats.
Skinny people don't know the struggles of curvy girls. They really
How
live
dare
it.
you? All I do is order Uber Eats.
Dana.
I live
No,
in
it's
the
me.
desert. It would take weeks to get there.
Yeah, you live in Joshua Tree. You guys, Doug
Oh, you
drove in from Joshua Tree. All right.
Period.
Okay. And
But I want to come party out there because I'm sure we
It's
could
gorgeous.
hoop and holler.
That's
and
a
nobody
Joshua
would
treat
even
for the
know.
first time.
We should
2
do an
weeks
On the
ago.
Rocks live broadcast. Do you have like a big house, or are you just like?
Can we live with you? Is that?
I could do like a huge party.
We can do the party, but no, you're not living with me.
Oh.
No.
So that was my report, y'all.
Yeah. Thank you. Kasey.
Tell me.
It amazes me how, as an entertainer and author, you are constantly working, bringing new light to new projects. Following you on Instagram gives me anxiety because it's like I'm not even doing half. Not
Is that
even
what you're going for?
of that.
It's just like, yes.
I just want to create anxiety amongst my friends.
No,
doing
because-
great,
Are you
girl.
uncomfortable yet?
You're doing good, girl.
But it's refreshing.
You will be.
It's refreshing to have friends in the industry. Like you said, sometimes you have to work hard in a different direction. And that's refreshing to see because you are putting your money where your mouth speaks, by the way.
Thank you.
You know, a lot of people come and they're like, oh, people will come to me, or because I have so many Instagram followers, I don't have to do anything else to work hard in the industry. And you definitely proved that wrong. We saw your episode of CREEPSHOW. You have a new single coming out. You will be appearing on a new reality show. And you have time to maintain your gorgeous hair.
Not today.
No. Literally, I show up to pajamas at meetings now. That's what I'm doing. How do you stay focused on what aspect of your career to work on? Because we all know you can take 10 different steps in 10 different directions and you're going to get this far. You seem to have a pretty good handle. Your books are doing well as an author. And then musician. How do you know how to focus that energy?
That's a real struggle for me. It is not something that is natural. And I constantly worry that I'm putting too much energy in one thing when I should be putting it somewhere else. And I don't want to become a jack of all trades, master of none. But what has happened is that I don't really get the luxury to decide. When someone says, hey, will you write this story? I look at my bank account and I say yes or no. You know, and I enjoy, like, I write all the time because I enjoy it. I sing because I enjoy it. But I also have to keep moving forward and keep creating and keep putting things out. So when people say, hey, do you want a residency at this place? Do you want to come sing at this time? Sure. And then if someone, hey, do you want, and the only reason that they're asking is because I've already created content so that they know what exists and they feel comfortable to ask me to do it. So it's not like people are just beating down my door. They've seen the work that I've already put out, so they know that there will be a completion of sorts, so they feel confident to ask. And then in the writing field, because my father has spent 40-something years establishing a brand of Lansdale, there is a certain level of trust there that was implemented because of him. So in that realm, I'm very fortunate because he laid a lot of groundwork to allow me to push through the doors when they got opened. And then for the music, what usually happens is someone hears me here, and then, you know, well, can you do this at this place? And then, can you do this at this place? Almost everything is word of mouth at this point. And then I also, you know, I go to castings, I go to auditions. That's how I ended up on the reality show. I can't talk too much about it yet because and not even in like a shady way, just like.
But you're gonna be back, like.
Yeah, I'll tell you all about it. So, but it all happens because I'm reading every casting breakdown. I'm submitting for everything that looks like I might be good. I had an audition this afternoon at 2:00. I drove 40 minutes, and they said, okay, so this is for a supplement. So pretend like it's the first time you're trying it. Okay, now give us a big smile. Okay, great. Thanks for coming in. And then I drove 45 minutes back home, and I was like, great, glad I couldn't do that on video for you.
Right.
But this is the honesty that is happening, and I'm so glad that you share this. I have veteran actresses who we've seen in every sitcom and every other project, and they talk honestly as well. They're driving to auditions. They're hoping that they get this role. But it's like, oh, you know, they're fine. Like, looking at your resume of work, it's like, oh, yeah. But this is part of the entertainment. You're constantly
Well, you know, when I was on set with on Happen Leonard, you know, it was Michael K. Williams and it was James Purefoy. And, I mean, I was talking to James a little bit, and he's been on Rome. He was just on The Following before. I mean, he's a working actor. And he was saying, yeah, as soon as this gig's over, I'm going to be out looking for the next job. So even people that we think of as established people, they're still working towards that next job. And it's the very rare, very few that don't have to go in for an audition anymore.
You got to get on the Ryan Murphy train, because then he'll just put you in everything else he does.
I love it. Love it.
But you shouldn't always do that. Did you see the last American Horror Story season?
No.
You know what? I'd risk it. I would risk it.
Oh, I would too. I'd be like, girl, I'll do whatever. Even Leslie Jordan was like, put a wig on me. It's fine.
You can drive the 40 minutes, go in for the audition, and you walk in the door and they go, no, you're not right.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? I'd rather them do
Me
that.
too.
Well, I had
break my heart right up front.
I had
just be
I had
done.
Dancer friends that went to an audition and they had already for all the people that they accepted to submitted that they accepted to go to the audition, they had already made all their cuts before they even got to the audition.
Because
and
they're looking at your followers.
They still let the
they're
people
looking
come
at-
to the audition. So
Right.
basically essentially wasting their time. Why'd you even say yes in the first place if you made all these cuts already before
Well, I'm
they
going to
even
call it
get
out
there?
too. I mean, even Martha Graham Dance Company, I don't know how familiar you are with dance, but that's the biggest dance company
Right.
there is. And you have people coming in from all over the world to audition for that. They're not looking for women. But they tell you that there and then. You know, that's like...
And if you're a white
seems right.
actress in Hollywood, I'm so sorry. Sorry, girl. I'm very honest about that.
You
It's
know
like,
what?
yeah.
It's not. It is not the time for the white male specifically. I mean, I get a little bit of freedom because I'm a girl, so there's a little bit of trying to equal it out. And then one step above. But you know what? That's how it falls. You know, everything goes in cycles.
Yes.
And hopefully at some point the pendulum, because right now the pendulum has swung way far.
And sometimes it needs to.
And exactly. So the hope is that it will fall back in the middle and then everybody can kind of come together. But it's just going to take time. And you know what? It's going to have
We're
to because
alive
it
during
took a
this
long
time.
time. It took a long time for the pendulum to swing. So, you know, it's the way the cookie crumbles.
You're full of all those sayings today.
I am.
We've talked a
Because
lot
I'm trying to watch my language. So I'm like, what can I say? Everything is censored.
You're like Disney.
It's funny. You started posting pictures. I'm like, wait, that's Rachel Evan Wood in Westworld, and you were her body double.
Yeah, and that's things like
It's so
that. You know,
crazy to
and because
me.
there's so much work that I do that I can't post, that I can't talk about
Yeah.
because of NDAs and because
Well, this was like two years after the fact.
Yeah, I waited 2 years because
Yeah.
basically the scenes that you see of Rachel Evan Wood that are boob down, and especially hand shots and things like that. A lot of times you're looking at me doing it, you know, and that's
Girl, good for you.
It's great because let me tell you, that is a tiny little woman because that corset, they had somebody's foot in my back and they're pulling and I'm like, suck it in. No Del Taco for me at night.
That's hilarious. You know, I had
She has a great voice too, by the way.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
I have a fun little fact. So when Nicolette Sheridan was on Desperate Housewives, one of my closest friends was doing her body double, and Nicolette Sheridan, when she was on Desperate Housewives, so she was having a 20-year-old do her body double.
Fantastic.
It happens. And there's hand
I can
doubles
appreciate
now.
that.
I've gotten a lot of hand double
Because
work.
our hands age a
Yeah.
lot faster, and that has to do with genetics. There's no hand lift that you can do. Because Faye Dunaway would have gotten one years ago. She was on the Hallmark. Anyway, I could go on.
I never thought about that. Hands are first.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
honestly.
He's like wearing gloves
Yeah.
I know.
forever.
Yeah, right. At this age, I just always
Faye
like
Dunaway
gloves.
now
Summer.
has
That's
in
my
her
thing.
contract as well.
Well, they always say if you want to find out how old someone is, look at their hands.
That's exactly. But sometimes they age before us. But we've always talked about your dichotomy in this horror. And you taught me how to say horror. by the
Horror.
way. Yeah.
It's very
It's
important.
not horror.
Well, because I was on a radio interview in Texas, and they were like, "Give us your best horror scream," and I was like, "I feel like I'm not going to do that because I don't know if you heard what I just heard."
Didn't we have issues with the word horror last time on the
did,
show?
and
Horror.
Horror.
I gave you
H-A-R-R,
Horror.
horror.
No,
Casey,
It's-
I even
it's-
gave you. We had a horror screen queen in, and I
Yeah.
gave you credit. I'm like, this is how we have to say
Yeah,
it for
because
this
last time I was on
interview.
the show, we were
100%.
having issues with this word.
Yeah.
You're giving horror scream.
Yeah, give me best horror scream. Like,
I don't get paid, so I can't give one. But you have
Wow.
the dichotomy. We see the blonde bombshell, the country music girl, and then this deep, dark world of horror writing. I have read your stories, so good, and it really follows in the line of family. Being featured in CREEPSHOW with a story that was really a family affair with your famed author, Father Joe Lansdale, and your brother. What was it like seeing your short story brought to life?
it was one of the most magical moments in my life. It really was. And I'm actually like trying not to be touched thinking about it. But you see something in your head for so long, and for somebody to take the initiative to film it and put it out there and to come really damn close to how, if not spot on, to how you imagined it. And I met the actor who played the companion, basically. He's like a jacked up scarecrow, and he's a very tall, Very, very silent man, very nice. And there's my friends over there snapping pictures. There's pictures of me just like with my hands clasped, and I'm fangirling over him.
We actually have a picture.
Because I couldn't believe that something that I envisioned in my head for that long, I was looking at it. And it was a magical, magical moment. And I just thought, if I never get anything else filmed in my life, at least I'll always have this. And that was sort of like a nice validation moment. And I hope it's not the only thing I ever get filmed, but there could be worse fates, you know.
Well, and that's a benefit. Sometimes we see projects, you know, Stephen King is one of my favorite authors, and we see good projects and we see bad projects. We're going to take a look at the trailer for this CREEPSHOW season, and when we come back, we have Kasey Lansdale with an in-studio performance. Stay tuned.
Are you going to tell me what this is all about?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. You've killed before. You'll kill again.
I see what you did there.
There are things in the corners of this world. Help me! They'll drive you insane. A new generation of horror has risen from the dead.
So it's just when we met at college, and we're off.
We're back.
We're back.
This is just the dichotomy of Kasey from horror, CREEPSHOW. And now I want to give a little live performance. Like I said, I've had the privilege of seeing firsthand how Kasey's performance transfixes audience, whether you're a country music fan or not. She has performed at Pride. She has performed everywhere. And there's a certain magic that happens, and we are very lucky to have Kasey performing right now.
Ooh, thanks, I'm winded.
I know. Do you want to take a minute, or?
Sure.
Okay. Just take a minute. And Chad, I wanted to know, when did you first get that bug for dancing?
Well, that's because of my brother. So my brother came back to my hometown. I grew up in Temecula, California. He did the whole Hollywood scene. So he toured with Jennifer Lopez, Michael Jackson, Ricky Martin.
Is he single?
Yeah.
What's his phone number?
Not your team, but sorry.
That's fine.
We have Equality Vodka. So I was on track to be an architect, actually. And then he brought dance into my life. Yeah, I know. Go figure. But so now, yeah, I started training through him, actually. And so that's what got me into dance.
Who were some of the first artists that influenced you?
That's hard to say because I feel like my world was so focused. I'm just such a focused type of person that I didn't really seek out other people to influence me, if that makes sense.
But like, who did you see on TV and you were like...
So that's the thing, like I didn't go to TV to look for that. I mean, I would see, like, So You Think You Dance and everything, but I hear the stigma around that from such a young age.
Yeah.
And that was I knew from the get-go that was the direction that I didn't want to go. I was interested in concert dance and touring and being international, not necessarily commercial, which I do a lot of commercial work, but that's
You do a lot of commercial work.
Yeah.
It's like a totally different side. It's that double life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you said commercial dancing, I was like, I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And it's just like I said, you come in, you do your thing, and it's
the
like...
approach is so different.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of times it's about look. It's like, no, I'm a real dancer too. You have a lot of teaching experience. You're helping a lot of youth around the nation discover themselves through art, which is so important. Music, dance, and theater have such a place in like therapy. Are kids still interested in dance nowadays? Has there been a growth or decrease since you've hit the scene in kind of being a teacher?
For me, dance was so serious from such a young age. So that took me a while, actually, to realize that not everybody was going to be a dancer. And so as an educator, I was very strict and disciplinary. Like, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do that. But sometimes that's not what they're there for. And
that's exactly right.
My partner, he got into dance therapeutically. And he's the director of the whole company, and I co-produce a lot of the work with him. And when he was 17 years old, his parents passed away. So he had no parents and had to pretty much figure out life on his own. And got into college, was in film. One of the projects was to go into the dance concert and film the project. And he was so moved by the concert that he saw, because the beauty of dance, I feel, is being able to express yourself without words. I think a lot of us have a hard time talking about how we feel. And that was a new medium of expression for him. And using that method and model, we apply that to a lot of LGBT youth community groups. A lot of kids, I mean, gay culture, as progressive as it moved forward, there's still a lot of issues. And being able to give children a channel, yeah, maybe they're not going to be a professional dancer, maybe their goal is not to be on stage, but there's still that emotional liberation that happens.
An expression.
Exactly.
You can work through your abuses. You can work through your self-confidence. And that's funny you mentioned that. One of the emails we got from a student from OSHA, which is the Performing Arts in Orange County, is Hollywood is celebrating a supposed diversity in body positivity, LGBT, and racial equality. Is this happening in dance? Physically, there can't be a lot of body diversity because there's certain movements, there's certain things that are just physically not right for body types. But it's a concern, is dancing inclusive if you're not the typical dancer?
That is the hard thing, right? And I think that's why you tier it. You do provide programs that include everybody. But in my opinion, and I mean, I just to say it, I don't feel like every body type is made to dance. I mean, just from a health standpoint and the impact on your joints. But with that being said, that doesn't mean that everybody shouldn't dance. You know, the mediums that you provide are what matter. So.
Well, and there's dance for expression and there's dance that's professional.
Yeah.
Obviously, what you're doing is on a professional level.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You're fitting certain ballets, you're fitting certain dances that just have to be. Kasey, have you gained your...
I'm here. I got winded. I ran.
She got winded.
I was like, I'm going to run down the hall.
And then I made her laugh on the way there, which didn't help,
Such
I'm
a bad idea.
Kasey, you have performed with Mr. Vince here.
Yeah, I got Vince White here.
Mr. Vince White, he's performed a lot on the show. I've seen you guys perform in public, many places.
Yeah.
You're kind of like you guys have a story together.
Yeah, you know, I'm going to tell you about Vince. So the reason that I know Vince is because he was actually a fan of my father's, and they were Twitter buddies. And when my fathers told him that I was moving to L.A., Vince took the time to write up an email and said, these are all the places in LA that play country music. You need to go here, here, here. These are my friends who are musicians.
So there was 3
you should
places
meet them.
that he listed.
Yeah, that was it. And
That's
he took the time to be
genuine.
kind before I knew him and to tell me all the places that were country music. And he had a jam. He still has a jam every Monday in Burbank at a place called Park Bar. And he invited me to come down there. They let me get up and they'd let me sing. And it was my first introduction singing to people in LA and meeting musicians and just kind to be kind. And it really stuck with me.
I love stories like that because that's stories that I like. I know a bunch of people that have stayed in Los Angeles. Like when you stay and you figure, like, that's the rep that I know people can have in Los Angeles. And that's really nice.
I was also a fan of hers because of the YouTube videos. So fan of her dad for a long time, fan of her for a while. So
yeah, it was great because he's like, I already know all your songs, and I was like, wow. I mean, you know, and as you see, he's got a harp, he's got the guitar. I mean, he's a one-man band.
He's legit.
Yes.
Are you single, Mr. Vince White?
Not at the moment.
At the moment. Maybe in an hour.
So you have a few shots of equality.
All right, tell us what you're going to sing.
Okay, so this is the new single. It's called Good Girl.
So excited.
I'm very excited. It's been a while since I've put out new music. I think it was the year 2016 was my last EP release. So this is the first thing that I've had come out since then. Really pumped about it. We're going to be releasing a new video, and then the single will actually be available for purchase at the top of the new year. Good Girl.
All right, Good Girl.
I remember as a young girl, my mama said to me, bad boys are a good time, but eventually they'll leave. Find yourself a good boy, one who won't break your heart. 'Cause if you love a bad boy, first a good girl loves a bad boy, and the bad boy makes her cry. And then the good girl becomes a bad girl, 'cause she's learned how to lie. Then the bad girl finds a good boy and leaves him broken hearted. And that's how the good girl, bad girl, good boy thing gets started. In this life, there's a lot of lessons you will learn. Sometimes it's the hard way, and sometimes you get burned. Every time you break a heart, you're making a heartbreaker. Another love goes up in flames. Here comes the Undertaker. First the good girl loves the bad boy, and the bad boy makes her cry. And then the good girl becomes a bad girl, 'cause she's learned how to lie. And then the bad girl finds a good boy and leaves him broken hearted. And that's how the good girl, bad girl, good boy thing gets started. First, the good girl loves the bad boy, and the bad boy makes her cry. And then the good girl becomes a bad girl, 'cause she's learned how to lie. Then the bad girl finds a good boy and leaves him broken hearted. And that's how the good girl, bad boy, good boy thing gets started. First, the good girl loves, and the bad boy makes her cry. And then the good girl becomes a bad girl, 'cause she's learned how to lie. Then the bad girl finds a good boy and leaves him broken hearted. And that's how the good girl, bad girl, good boy thing gets started. Oh yeah. Oh. Oh, yeah. I'm a bad, bad girl. Woo! I was like, bad girl, I don't know, she's bad. She's bad.
And you guys, the music video is coming soon. Vince, tell everybody what your Instagram handle is, where people can follow you.
Yeah, Vince.
Into the microphone. I know you're new at like music and microphones.
Vince W Guitar, and my main site is vincewhiteguitar.com.
Right.
Guys, that's so good.
Oh, it's so fun. You know, it's really, it's been a great joy to take that song and from where it started to now, putting it out and then putting the video together. It's come a long way. You know, it's been a ride.
Such a good song.
Thank you.
Such a good song. Thank you so much, Vince.
All right, thanks.
The Palomino would have loved you back in the day.
Oh, good times.
Kasey,
I'm the only one here old enough to know the Palomino.
Is that a cocktail?
I was going to say, the Palomino by Equality Vodka.
We're like, sounds tasty.
Kasey, I love the theme of that good girl, bad girl. As a female, you have definitely held your own in the horror writing world that's typically male-dominated, in the country music area as well. Are females truly becoming more empowered in the entertainment industry as a whole, do you feel? Is this real? We talk about this all the time, and I get a different opinion from every female that's been on the show, because experiences are different.
Okay.
Be honest, girl.
I have a lot of thoughts about this. We don't have enough time. But what I'll say is Jennifer Nettles is still posting pictures saying, let the girls play and play my records, and 7% of music is female. I mean, maybe it's better than, 3 or 4%, but I'm not impressed. You know, there is not a lot of females on radio. You very, very rarely, if ever, will hear 2 female songs back-to-back on country music. Don't believe me? Turn it on. Listen. It's guys back-to-back, a female plugged in, guys back to back. You never ever hear the girls back to back. And the only time that I have heard it has actually been when I've been listening to country music in LA.
103 or 101.5.
That one, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're one of the few that I've ever heard play females back to back because it's just not done. And most of the programming is done out of Atlanta, and you have to go through the 5 people that approve, and those same 5 people are putting out men. And I do think that there is this new video, we were talking to CMT for about the release, and they have the Women of Country. And so they were putting out the Women of Country, but then they were like, oh, no, we don't want too many women. I'm like, well, is it Women of Country? Or is it like we're going to put a few women so everybody feels like there's some diversity, if you will?
Yeah, about themselves.
Yeah, and I mean, even Lil Nas, who just won his first thing, no disrespect to him, and it's going to sound bad, but I think that he's... I feel like the country community is using him as a pawn to say, like, oh, look how open and diverse we are. We have a gay black man. Well, you got one. I'm sure that there's more than one that is a country
felt that
singer.
the minute. I was like, oh, this is a hot story for today.
And I hate that.
Everyone always says
fair.
the LGBT community it's getting better and better and better, like overall. Right. But in the entertainment industry, no, they still keep.
But
that
even
stuff,
LGBT,
they have they still keep that stuff on lockdown.
It is getting better because listen to his story. That
But
you
no,
just
but
heard.
yeah, in general, but in the entertainment industry,
yeah.
it's still not.
Exactly.
It's still the entertainment industry is sort of like stuck on glue, whereas everything else is moving forward, and they are resisting.
Which applies even to more of the labels that you're talking about.
They talk about it a lot, but they don't act on it.
It's labels, and it's a hot button, but it's not really happening. I'm in the LGBT community. I'm a husky, Latinx, I don't fit any of the boxes. It's not really happening for me. You know what I mean? So even in the LGBT community, it's hot buttons because we're supposed to say this, we're supposed to believe in this, but we need to have more...
Behind the scenes, it's not the fact
And we
of
need
the
to have
matter.
more conversations about the reality of what's happening behind the scenes, such as...
Well,
such
and
as
like I
female
say, I do
representation.
think that there is more for women. I mean, and I will say, ever since #MeToo, if I'm on a film set and a guy's like putting the mic on, he's like, "I am going to touch you now," and,
Good.
Yeah.
Because then you feel
They should have been
safe.
respectful in the
Right.
first
No
place.
question.
So they have to say that they're not being respectful.
It's a crazy thing, but yeah, I mean, there was a big scandal a couple of years ago because a radio DJ said that the females are like the cherries in the salad, the cherry tomatoes in the salad. So you sprinkle a few in, but the real thing that you're coming for is the greens, which are the men, and that's the mentality.
And that's so weird because, like, for me, I'm like most of the people I'm interested in, like comedians, musicians, they're all female.
Well, I think that's the gay perspective.
Well,
we
but
love
I'm just saying,
songs.
but I'm saying, but you know what I mean? But I'm just saying in general, that's saying that that's not possible for females to be the salad. That's what I'm saying. People see them as the salad, not the cherries.
Well, they would say to me, they're like, well, women don't put butts in seats. And I was like, well, how does Reba or Taylor or Katy Perry or
Have you seen Kim
any
Kardashian's
of these
butt?
people? But I mean, it's like, it's crazy to me that that's the mentality is that women don't sell tickets.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, maybe because there's only like 4 of them and the 4 that do sell tickets.
But that's like, oh yeah, that's so crazy.
The only country music concert I ever paid good money for, or even went to, was Gretchen Wilson, and it was one of the best shows I've ever seen in my entire life.
Really?
Yeah. I was because I was like, okay, but loved her music, loved her energy. One of the best shows I've ever seen in my entire life.
That's good.
Because it was just a show about music.
It's good to hear.
It wasn't.
I mean, think about the last 5-6 years for the Super Bowl. You're not thinking about any of the boys' performances. That's what I'm saying.
And in fact, we're embarrassed by them. So, but let's talk about this Me Too movement because I'm interested. Dance is so sexual, in movement, in closeness. We're in this Me Too era where we do have to double think everything that we do or say, regardless male or female, gay or straight. How do you deal with that in the dance world because it is such a sensual art?
Well, it's funny that you say that. I mean, as an educator, anytime you enter a room, or maybe not make it a public announcement, but before you touch someone, you ask. Like, is it okay that I touch you? Because we were going to make corrections and you need to turn out your inner thigh. And these are really close, private places that normally I wouldn't go up to on the street and touch.
Unless you're the guy that finds...
Unless you want to lick an arm or something.
But that's part of the business. It's like, hey, Kasey, do you mind if I hit this high D here? It's like, no, we're singing. Like, this is what
Well, you're working with children too,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
that's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
work
Okay.
with children. And then on top of that, though, it's interesting because, I mean, there's a whole men dance to movement happening right now. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah. There's like, I don't know, is everyone Travis Wall? He's So You Think You Dance, but he's like a public figure of dance. Because there's a lot of, I forget what that talk show host, she said something about, she was making fun
Yes,
of,
I know what you're talking about.
Good Morning America.
Yes.
She said
she was making fun of the kid that was into dance.
yeah, his Prince,
I've been trying not to. I'm sorry. Carry on.
Please.
Yeah, and she got into a lot of trouble because
Thank
she
you,
was,
honey.
she was like, "Oh, he'll be into sports later," or like get it.
Right.
And she was saying,
serious?
Yeah,
because he loves ballet.
Wait
he
a
loves
minute.
ballet. She was,
Oh.
she was
That's
bullying.
like when people
she
are
was
like, "Oh,
bullying
you'll
a child.
change your mind." You'll
Right.
Yeah, she laughed because he was in a ballet, but
She said a lot. She did a
we
lot more
only
than
saw.
laugh.
Wait a minute,
Yeah.
though, because I'm always the other side as well.
Of course you are.
Of course, I'm a big representative of the LGBT community. Of course that. But it was a whole conversation about like. He's such a prince. He's doing princely things like taking dance, learning how to drink tea, and then other stuff. There was a little like funniness.
No, you're wrong. I think you're wrong. No,
Do you
no.
think that they were being
She made
too
full on.
I just think we're so ready to be angry, and we put her through the coals.
Listen, it wasn't ready to be angry thing. She was diminishing someone's interest in something that they like just because she felt
100% true.
because she was projecting the fact that she wasn't used to the fact that boys can be emotional and be sensitive and be into dance.
She wasn't educated.
But you know the thing is,
she wasn't being mean about it. She wasn't educated.
But she was being mean about it. She was being mean about it because she was bullying the kid because she was making fun of him and laughing at him on television as a grown adult to a child. But she did make up for it by actually having Travis. I think she had Travis Wall on.
Did she?
No.
Yeah, she had Travis Wall and two other dancers on the show and actually had them discuss and apologize publicly and made up.
But that
for it.
apology, this
she
is
got
where
made to do that though.
I
Somebody up the line.
I don't
Wait a
care if
minute.
they got made. Those guys still got their stage to speak on behalf.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I feel flip side about that. I was like, she made a stupid mistake and we put her through that. But then her apology was manufactured by the network. You want to keep your $1 million contract? You have to say this and that. And she was like, money, money, money. I will say whatever you want.
I mean,
her apology was so insincere.
She went a little bit further than just having an apology.
She had to. That wasn't her
It wasn't
choice.
just an apology. She had a full segment that was an entire thing where she researched and went and visited and talked to these people and it was.
But it wasn't
Even
her,
if it was
Stephen, it was
forced, do you think it's
told.
good though? Because now
Even
she
if
researched
she
it and
was
got it.
forced to do it,
course.
at least the exposure was there and the fact that this is okay.
And this conversation is what we should be having. I
Agreed.
shouldn't be afraid to not agree with you 100%.
yeah,
Right.
Because
we
we
don't
all
agree
have different
all the
views.
time.
No, but that even the Me Too movement, we are so vilified if we don't. Me Too, I support 100%. If I say I don't support 100%, then I'm
Well,
out.
and that's hard because
yeah.
I mean, and you can probably relate to this being from Texas. I'm a hugger. I touch every, I'm constantly like, hey, how's it, petting people. And I'm a lot more aware of it now because it shifted even for me to other females, to other males. And you have to really even be careful. But that culturally, that's really how I was raised is, give me a hug. How's your mama and them?
And there was a time in the 60s
Yeah.
and 70s where we're tearing people's careers apart from actions in the 70s.
Well, that's
different. But what you were saying was like, yeah, you shouldn't be into something. If you're into something, you should never be into something 100%. Because if you're not questioning something, then it becomes from being like supportive of it to being idyllic of it, where you're just like, this is now like religious, and you should be questioning these things if you see something that you support that you're like, I don't think this is okay, but then you're just gonna support it anyway. No, you should question it because maybe it's an opportunity for that to become better.
Well, the interesting thing too, I mean, just as my approach is on dance, and I don't know what you would have to say about this, or even you, just as artists, but because Me Too or Men Dance Too is happening right now.
And I'm glad that we're learning about this because I was clueless.
Their culture of choreography and who dominates the dance world is men. And so you have this stigma of young men, youth, who are told that men dance too, it's okay, and then you grow into this nature, and then you become successful at what you do, and then you're told. But it's just statistically true. Men are dominating the culture of the choreography world, of dance companies as artistic directors. And like what you're saying with the music industry, country music, men are dominating the world, and women have a statement to say about that. Which don't feel like they have a place, or they feel like they should have a stronger place. And
it's weird, right? Because it's a male-dominated industry, but also everyone saying that men don't do it.
Right. So,
weird.
but then that's when that starts these questions. I mean, we just had this whole debaclement of everything that we just talked about. What is it?
Well, I guess I mean, look at the backbone of a lot of things that are super, super feminine. I mean, it's a man that usually teaches like that. Like the whole thing of that American Top Models it was doing was that it was a gay man that was teaching the women how to walk on the runway. Like, like I mean,
these are stereotypes that we perpetuate through reality TV. As much as I love it,
it's like men don't dance like that. Like men do dance, obviously, because you said it's male dominated, but it's just the public perception that it's a feminine sense, like it's not masculine.
Those of us that grew up in theater, you have to get beyond that before you realize that's not the reality for everybody.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I thought everybody danced terribly because I did, but.
Put you on the back like ladder.
I'll tell a story off the air. But
it's funny when we're talking about masculinity. It's like we're talking about men that have to lift other dancers in the air. We're talking about men that have to restrict their own health and going out, whatever, to condition their body. That's manlier than a lot of men that
some of the men that are doing those ballet turns and lifts and they're lifting up those
throwing girls left and right.
Cow.
And it's the responsibility of the lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know? You guys, we could talk hours and hours, but we kind of have to wrap up. Oh my God, I can't even believe this. But real fast, I want to talk about, you have a great relationship with Palm Springs now.
Yep.
We know Palm Springs, I was just the media grand marshal.
Congratulations!
And I'm there monthly doing events. You have some exciting. It went through the Palm Springs Dance Festival is now the International Dance Festival for 2020. That comes with a lot of work.
No kidding. Yeah. It's exciting because we founded the Palm Springs Dance Festival in 2016, produced in 2017. And we transformed the name to International Dance Festival because we didn't want to idle in one location. So we produce all over the world now, pretty much duplicated the model, but it was founded in Palm Springs. So I was in Philadelphia for about 4 years, and I just moved back here a week and a half ago.
Really?
Yeah. So we have a place in Long Beach, California, and then I'm also in Palm Springs. And we are probably going to build our headquarters there. I mean, this is very beginning stages, but we're looking to open a venue specifically for dance and different offices within the space. But Palm Springs is our home. I mean...
Palm Springs is really coming up with the younger generation.
Yeah.
And this
it's a time of change.
Artistic energy.
Do you need some two-stepping? Is that like, should I come and teach you how to two-step?
I mean, hey, that could be part of the festival.
They should have a
Do you know what I really would love, though? You know, a lot of...
want that.
Maybe.
I would...
Maybe...
They used to do it in what was it, Moe's in San Diego? They would have a like line dance.
Well, let me rephrase that. You don't want me doing
okay.
No, but there's also an excitement with dance with live performances as well.
Yeah.
You mean like the collaboration or...
Where we see live music to the actual dance because when it's live and it's just...
Well, I mean, like, are you familiar with Desert X? Desert X is in Palm Springs throughout, so it's like building installations throughout the entire community.
Oh, yes. They did that Mirror House.
Yeah. So, like, even site-specific works, I mean, just collaborating. I mean, I think what's exciting for dance is it's blending into our culture. I mean, you see it in commercials, you see it on TV, and just, like, car commercials, and people are becoming more acquainted to what that is and how to market.
But I also want to make sure it's the right dance because, you know, we had the movie Judy come out. I've been on dates in the last 6 months. They don't know who Judy Garland is.
Oh.
They don't know who Golden Girls is.
Who are you dating? Are these children?
Yeah.
They're right out of the room. But there's younger people that know those genres because they study, you know. And Judy Garland, who doesn't know Judy Garland? But there's kind of a loss of what's happening.
Break up with that person immediately.
Yeah.
The ephemeral
we didn't even get past appetizers.
The ephemeral nature of a live performance, like we just saw...
Yes.
Here in this
all
room,
of a sudden, everything is transformed.
It creates a magic that you don't get off of film or recorded.
Yeah.
On the recording, I get the words right. Just saying.
I didn't know.
I don't care.
I would never know.
No, we never even knew.
We don't care.
Too busy being enamored by the
I'm a bad girl 3 times in a row. That's how bad I am.
But you know, that is what's great. You know, Vince and I we opened for Winona Judd. Yep. And she came, and we had a good opening set, if I do say so myself. And it's very rare, as performers, you know, that it's very rare that you do a show and you're like, I killed it. Normally, you beat yourself up.
Yeah.
So we did a great show.
We also know when we've killed it.
Yeah, and let me tell you, we killed it. And then I was feeling good about it. I was like, yeah, that was a great show. And then Winona Judd steps out, and it's just like, bam, I'm Winona. You know, just her essence, her heaviness, and her energy. She was just, and just pure
Judd.
Confidence. It was crazy to see.
Judd.
And she was doing her new album, and she got out there. She got about 2 lines in, and then she goes, "And I forgot the words." And then she keeps going, and I was like, you know what? If Winona Judd cannot keep her shit together, what do you people expect from me?
This is live performance.
And but it was a magic moment.
The ownership
and it changed,
of that moment.
It changed how I performed, and
because you can make a mistake.
Yeah, because I saw Winona Judd make a mistake, and I was like, well,
people don't realize that you made a mistake.
That's not even why you're there. They're not there because you're perfect. You're there because
they
want to
hear something that they're hearing. And I love that you said that's when you were told, like, it's okay to be a real performer.
And that was the moment. I was just, and that was 2 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
So I've been performing professionally for a decade, and then 2 years ago I went like, oh, okay, you don't have to like.
I think that's a life lesson for anybody, is learning how to make mistakes.
But as an artist, I
know how to make them. I mean, but to feel okay.
That's my point. Yeah, like accepting
that.
I
just touched you. Me too.
Oh God.
I'm sorry.
Where's my
Y'all, he's all legs here. He's 100%.
I'm just like in your space.
You know how it's funny in pictures we never know how tall somebody is? He is so damn tall. You could do the Nightmare Before Christmas ballet.
Perfect. I'm
Jack
ready.
Skellington, yes.
Jack Skellington, that'd be great.
I could be the mayor. What's happening? What's happening?
His face is always
just
turned
have me
too.
walk up. Backstabbing is not a face turn. Anyway. All right, you guys, we have to finish up the show, so Kurt can go home. He just came back from vacation. He had a great weekend with his wife.
We'll keep him here a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Then.
Oh, Kurt, we never got to your pun. Real fast. Real fast. He's so punny.
I'm off balance now. What do you call it?
That was a
bear without any teeth.
My ex-boyfriend?
A gummy bear.
Hey, before we close up, I want to do one more shout out for Vince White.
No, we're going to do rapid fire, so everyone's going to be able to get their give shout.
Are we doing rapid fire?
Rapid fire, we have to do it really fast, and when I say rapid fire, it is rapid fire. Who wants to go first?
I don't even know what that means, so you go first.
Okay, you look at me.
Yeah.
Stephen Dehler. And I run in a rapid fire for you because I kind of know everything about you.
It's not about you, okay?
A hot celebrity that you were like, meh.
A hot celebrity that's like, meh. The one that played Edward in Twilight.
Robert Pattinson?
Yeah,
I can
man.
see that.
Total
Okay,
man.
you were doing a duet with Britney Spears, your absolute favorite. What is the name of your song?
Oh, God, you bitch.
You bitch. That's the name of the song.
Yeah, give me more. Give me more with her.
No.
I have to do
a new song.
You bitch then.
I think You bitch is great.
Okay. You bitch, yeah.
You're doing great.
Not that one. That was right off the cuff.
You also are very responsible. I've never seen you like really drunk, but what is the drunkest thing you've done? Oh, Joe knows.
The drunkest thing I've done.
Rapid fire.
I can't think of it because I was drunk.
That's the sound.
Equality.
I would say the drunkest
drink?
thing I've ever done was on my 21st birthday, and a dancer completely naked put their ass on my face to grab $1 out of my mouth.
Wait, with their ass?
Yes, with their butt cheeks. They saw my face.
Did they succeed?
Yes, they did.
He asked for change. He was like, "Do you have 2 quarters?"
He practiced.
Where's pickup line that you've heard? And I know you've heard them all.
Oh man, I hear terrible ones. But can I do the opposite and do the best pickup line that I'll offer you?
Okay, fun.
Okay, does this smell like chloroform to you?
All right, tell our viewers and listeners where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at theonlysteven. That's with the V, the correct way to spell it. And then on Facebook and Twitter, you can find me at Stephen Dehler, Dehler.
All right, who's next?
I'll go.
Chad Ellen Ortiz, 3 names. You are creating a dance reality show. What's the reality show called?
Choreographer competition. I don't know. Focus on choreography.
C squared. I love it.
C squared. There you go. Yeah,
that's
a good.
Because your face sounds like
Men dance too.
Men dance too.
Yeah. C squared. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
A dance move that you have to do often in your choreography that you're like, oh, I have to physically do that again.
I don't really ever have that moment. Maybe a split jump in the second.
Okay, split jump in the second.
Yeah.
Mine is a high G because I can do it, but I don't want to.
It's like middle splits in the air.
I get you.
Oh, we have many pictures of your middle splits. In fact, you have a Tumblr about your middle splits.
Oh, really?
Yeah. After dance performance, personal ritual. You've done a whole dance evening, and then you go home. What's your ritual?
Go to bed. I have a drink and go to bed. I'm done.
Okay, so like what's your drink? You walk in, you...
I'm a bourbon guy, so I'm a bourbon old-fashioned.
You just kind of decompress?
Yeah. No, I like to be alone. I'm more of an introvert. I mean, this is very, like, extroverted of me to be here and communicating with all of you.
You're using it all up for the week.
Yeah, exactly. Then I'm going to sleep. I'm going to hibernate.
You're going to be like...
Yeah, I'm like, oh, God, here she is.
I think you...
Yeah, the stage gives you an invisible shield, too.
Yeah, I'm a different person on stage.
Completely different.
I'm a different person now. I'm a lot of people.
You're an introvert, extrovert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really am.
You are going to choreograph for any pop star, living or dead. Which one needs the Chad Allen touch?
Oh, I'd love to work with Britney Spears, actually. No, I'm Britney all the way. I was 5 years old, just dropping to the floor, head whipping. I know.
And she needs a good choreographer.
Yeah.
Her last ones were not fun.
We're putting it out in the universe.
Put it in the universe, yes.
Britney, follow me.
Manifest.
Chad Allen, this actually comes from a fan. Have you ever dated a co-dancer? And I actually think, because I'm like the FBI, I look where the email comes from. I think this is actually from a co-dancer. Have you ever dated a co-dancer?
Oh, well, I have. I mean, I always dated a co-dancer, and now I'm with the director, so...
Oh,
She keeps
He's like,
in the
I'm
fam.
scared.
We're talking about me too. Wow, okay. Quit. Well,
So answer is yes.
okay. Chad Allen, where can everybody find you?
At Chad Allen Ortiz, and follow us at Nickerson Rossi Dance, nickersonrossydance.com.
All right, and what are some of the events you have coming up?
We are...
December, you have something.
Yeah, we're at Cathedral City's new Coachella Valley Repertory, a brand new theater built in March. We are the resident dance company, so we'll be presenting dance December 8th, 2 and 7 p.m. You can find tickets at nickersonrossydance.com. We're also a part of Modernism, which is really exciting because this is the first time they're presenting
Modernism
dance.
in Palm Springs is amazing.
Oh, it's one of the biggest events out there, and we're presenting dance for the first time, so I'm really thrilled about that. And then we have the International Dance Festival in Palm Springs, April 2nd through the 5th.
Do you need like an MC or an introducer? Or a question and answer after?
Or even like a voiceover, actually, after you gave me that whole voiceover
In a
spiel.
world of international dance.
Majestic.
Keep going, keep going.
I may be drunk.
Spoiler alert. He is.
But maybe we could do like a Q&A with some of the dancers.
I would love that.
He's saying that, but
No, I really
won't
would.
get that call.
Follow up.
This is so fast. There's such rapid
Speed round,
fire
get it
to
over.
right now.
Where can everybody find you?
They already found me.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
So the answer is yeah.
Perfect. Who's next?
Please.
Okay.
Doug, one product you don't think you'd be the best at running a business for?
Pantyhose.
That's good.
Do you know that women are still wearing pantyhose? I thought it was a thing of the
great.
past.
Next
I
question.
still wear pantyhose.
What's wrong with that?
No, but they used to sell them in the supermarket in like little eggs because my mom used to be
Yeah.
like, we need pantyhose. And
They'll
it would be
sell
there
that.
with like, yeah.
Alexander, fast,
You get a
rapid fire.
tan and you don't have to shave your legs in like an instant. It's amazing. Don't judge my life.
Just put 'em
And
on.
if you get the fit thing, they suck in the
They're still one of
gut.
my favorite people in the world.
The gut suck, hairy legs, you tan.
Pantyhose it up.
Next week, I'll be wearing pantyhose.
God.
Best memory from being in the Air Force?
The people, the men you serve with.
The camaraderie.
Yeah, there's no comparison. Until I met my business partner, I didn't have a friendship that even came close to my friends in the service.
You know, you're literally putting your life on the line with somebody, so
Right.
there's that bond.
Yeah. True.
One thing you've seen people add to or do with their vodka that makes you shudder?
Not drink it.
Dr. Pepper.
Was that in Texas?
Wait a minute.
And I would add Big Red to that also.
Oh, yeah.
But
I know my
Does it-
people. It's
I went to college. It was Mountain Dew and Dr. Pepper when we were at
Mountain
Edge.
Dew and Dr.
Mountain
Pepper?
Dew. Mountain Dew tastes
Together?
so good. Oh,
We
God, it
always
tastes
just
so
did
good.
we did vodka Red Bulls.
Oh, fancy. Doug, best personal hangover cure?
personal hangover cure, sleep.
We don't have time for that. Like, literally, we don't have time for that.
A Big 12 shot.
Oh, yeah. So I went and I got that IV hangover thing.
Yeah.
It works. It literally
Yeah.
works. 10 minutes later, you're like, oh shit.
I need a drink.
It's dehydrated. He's back onto his cocktail.
Were you watching me, stalker? Celebrity not living that you would want to share a bottle of Equality Vodka with?
John Kennedy.
Oh.
I have never heard that response. We've heard so many responses.
What a nice answer.
Yeah. As a follow-up, what would you ask?
I think the
rapid fire though.
No.
Pushing the equal rights. Johnson signed it. Kennedy created it, and at 71, I lived through that era, and it was powerful. It was extremely powerful. That's why Equality Vodka exists. I became aware that everybody wasn't treated the way I was as a Caucasian.
Interesting. Girl, you look good, by the way. You're giving out dates? I'm like, wait, what? You look good. Where can people follow Equality Vodka?
At Equality Vodka. That's it.
Easy.
And don't forget about the candles.
Oh.
We're giving away 2 sets of 2 candles for yourself or for
They
holidays.
smell so good.
They're really, actually, really,
I'm
really
going to be
good.
hashtagging everything.
Yeah. hashtag once per post that Equality Vodka does, and you'll be entered. But say
place will
on the
be on
Vox
fire.
Radio Show. Yep.
I've got to give one more buzz out to my business partner, Burt Gallagher. He literally walked in with that and said, let's do this, and hooked me to where I'm still doing it because it was such a great idea and such a beautiful concept.
Well, we're very thankful.
And it's good vodka.
And for your
It's
message.
very good vodka.
It is, yeah.
Yes. Oh, it goes down like Kasey Lansdale.
Ready. I can't drum roll. That's why they don't give me instruments.
Such gentlemen here. Ladies last.
One of the most overrated songs in your opinion. You're just like, that song is famous?
Like current, old, or what?
It's song probably for best interested.
Current.
Just a song you hate that you're like, why is that popular?
Not hate, but it's like, yeah.
Like, I get it.
Like, why is that popular?
I can't think of a particular one offhand, but anyone that like has 13 songwriters and it's just the same lyrics over and over again. Like,
Can you
My
help
mom
us?
says that. She's like, it's the same lyric.
Oh, I see.
anytime they're just,
Okay.
yeah.
Like
It's
that's
like
shut up,
7
just
words
shut up,
for the whole.
Shut up, shut up, just shut up.
That
Remember
would,
that one?
that would count.
Like a diamond.
Yeah.
Sure.
That one? When I was directing a theater piece, this gentleman came up and he sang Like a Diamond. All he did was with the piano, like a diamond, like a diamond. He sang that.
We're going to have
10
to take
times
him
in a
out
row.
back and beat him to death.
Well, she doesn't like it.
Oh. Okay.
She'll be there with her Dr. Pepper and
I know. She's ready.
Kasey Lansdale, you are writing a scary story about a podcast host who drinks too much vodka and sees dead people. What's the story called?
Alex's Wish.
Done and done.
I guess it'd be Alexander's Wish.
Alexander's Wish, yeah.
That sounds better.
You're going to see it on Broadway. And
I love it.
It does
Yeah.
sound
Or
like,
on
it does
Bravo.
sound like a show.
Alexander's Wish.
It's not that
God,
face.
we're so good. Creepshow's a hit. What creeps you out in real life?
Scares or creeps?
Creeps you. So it doesn't have to be like horror related, but
Okay.
like, oh, that gives me the creeps.
Okay, because what scares me in real life is random acts of violence. What creeps me out are little bitty tiny bitey bugs, like anything that falls under the tiny bitey bug category, like fleas, gnats, ticks, mosquitoes, anything small, tiny, and bitey.
Ooh, East Texas.
Yeah.
Straight back up.
Ooh, the
was saying-
chiggers, like, ugh, I mean, I'm getting itchy now thinking about it.
Okay, but now
tiny
you can
bitey bugs.
afford, like, not, like, you can afford.
But right, but
living in
that freaks me out. Tiny bitey bugs.
Really?
Yeah,
Tiny
tiny
bitey
bitey bugs. Because
Well, that's a story in this
They're
house.
everywhere.
Tiny bitey bugs. Let's do a dance to Tiny Bitey Bugs. Strangest fan, comment, or request.
oh my god, the first one
Oh.
that popped in my head was a guy who kept sending me on my Facebook fan page. It was like foot fetish stuff. And he kept
That is
sending
such
me
a
weird.
popular
So I
thing.
kept ignoring it, and he kept sending more and more. And then finally, I wrote him, and I was like, "You've got to understand that this is not fun for me, right?" He's like, "Well, I thought you were enjoying it, and I was like,
Was he sending his feet to you?
he was sending his
Oh.
feet, drawings of feet.
No.
Quotes. It was all foot related.
But that's a huge genre.
Like, you're not enjoying this?
And it was so weird. So that I would say that counts.
But Kasey, this is like a
falls
thing
under the
across
creep
the
me out
genre
also.
board, from soap opera stars to reality stars to porn stars, everybody.
Well, and Godspeed, do your foot thing, but I don't want it. You know, like I don't need to be a part of whatever's going on there.
I wear socks in the shower. Like I don't want to see your feet. Finish the sentence.
Must feel weird on your feet.
We're all fine with it. Finish the sentence. No way I can perform without my fill in the blank. And I'm not saying microphone or something, but like your personal
antacids.
From this show, by the way.
That's good.
She's like, Vince, antacids. Where can people find and follow you?
I can't say antacids and ask people to find me and follow me. Who wants to follow the girl that needs antacids?
You just have to make a post about antacids.
Our rating just went up.
Yeah.
Foots and antacids.
Foot fetish and antacids.
You gotta hashtag it.
Okay. Hashtag antacids.
That's the hashtags
oh my
forever
God,
now.
My life. It's Kasey Lansdale. That's my Instagram, my Twitter, my Facebook. Everything is KaseyLansdale.com. All of the things are Kasey Lansdale. Find me, say hi, hashtag foot fetish.
That's easy.
Hashtag antacids.
I know that we went over, but I'm so happy with tonight's show. This is what it's about. It's talking about entertainment, and I'm really excited when we see your music video drop.
Thanks. Yeah, me too.
Yay.
Really excited. Thanks for having me. Thanks for indulging me.
You guys, next up, we have singer-songwriter Lisa Loeb coming to visit. She has released new music. We have Sci-Fi Network's Jen Cheon, the fabulous Mrs. Maisel, Shirley Maisel herself, Caroline Aaron, and she talks about Me Too, and she talks about being a longtime actress. We also have 8-time Academy Award nominee, makeup special effects artist V. Nail. She did Star Trek The Motion Picture, Beetlejuice, Edward Scissorhands, Mrs. Doubtfire, Hunger Games, Pirates of the Caribbean. Also, we have a panel of adult film stars. You never know who's going to be here at On the Rocks radio show. We thank you. We love you. Kurt, thank you for staying a little bit extra. All right. We'll see you later. Everybody.
This has been another episode of On the Rocks. Tweet me and slide into my DMs on Twitter and Instagram at On the Rocks On Air. Find everything On the Rocks for free at OnTheRocksRadioshow.com. Subscribe, like, review, and share. Until next week, stay fabulous.